Oh crap. Alright, we're back. Jeez, it's been a while, hasn't yeah. Sorry for the late delay. Lost track of time, you know what I'm saying? Let me see here. I do need to change my clothes though, so I just got so let me change my clothes and then we're gonna start. So I'll put starting soon. Let me just put my clothes on shortly and then we'll jump in. Right in we're gonna continue where we left off with the Olin Rogers video. As you know, I'm a fan of Owen Rogers. I did watch his show Final Space as well as his show his short scene Godspeed. Speaking of Godspeed, I do want to talk about that because apparently Owen Rogers has found some good news about it. So let's just go on Olin Rogers. Kind of like okay. I guess I'll just go on YouTube then, cause I don't want to skip out from the ad, so not ad the tab. So I guess I'll go on Owen Rogers. Apparently he found a company for yeah, apparently he found a company for yeah, he also has another one called the Lions Blaze. But he has Godspeed though. Look here. So 2 weeks ago, he had a whole big paragraph of basically saying Godspeed and saying that they did find um he was searching for 10 months. So between the time the short released and now, he's been searching up for a partner, like an animation studio to begin with. And apparently they're able to, but they can help secure a budget for the entire series, right? And obviously, apparently it's not a big studio. It's probably like let's see here. Yeah, so basically it's probably like an indie studio or like a pretty much not middling, but like a medium level studio. They haven't made a final they haven't finalized the deal yet, but they do have he does have someone who wants to make a deal with him. So congratulations on that. Honestly, I did like Godspeed, the first episode of Godspeed. So I'm looking forward to it honestly. So whatever happens, man, I'm looking forward to it. Let's see here. I'm not live streaming. Why is it always say I'm not streaming? I am streaming. Put it on. Cool. I'm trying to see, man. 'Cause apparently I'm not streaming. I am streaming, bit. Okay, probably have to turn off my freaking YouTube and go on it again. I'm streaming. There we go. There we go. Alright. Okay, so let me just change my clothes and then we'll get started. I'm back. I changed my clothes. Speaking of content creators, I want to talk about a little bit about Chibi reviews. Yo, so apparently Chibi reviews actually got doxxed. So apparently someone actually doxed Chibi, and now they're like fucking, now they're like making fun of his dead brother and shit. Like what? Like, and you know what happened? You know why? Because it was a tweet that he made about the animation of Don Da Don, and the scene. What happened was it was the crap. I forgot her name. Hold on. Don Da Don. Fuck, not Don Da Don. Don Da Don. It was the main female character, right? Let me just. I want to make sure. What's her name? Is it she? Is it Shinon? No, that's a fucking voice actor. Whoops. Um, characters right here. What the fuck? Momo. Was it Momo? I don't care about Block, nigga. Yeah, Momo. So basically, the scene was basically Momo. She got abducted by aliens, and then the aliens were trying to rape her. And the issue was, Chibi Reviews was using that scene as a praise for YouTube for the animation of Saint Zoro. And then what happened was he got doxxed. So he got doxxed for it, and now he's going to sue the people who are responsible for doxing him because now he doesn't feel safe at home. And let's just make it. I watched the video already, so we're gonna watch the short video, and you can see what's happening. I'm gonna turn off my thing here.
So I have been doxxed. My private information has been leaked online, my full name, where I live, pictures of my house, pictures of my dead brother's grave, and mocking my dead brother's grave on top of that. And then, on top of all of this, continuous amounts of death threats. This video is being used as a paper trail for I can show to my lawyer, also the court system, because I am going to be filing a lawsuit against the individuals that are responsible for doxing my private information. Now, as you can see on screen, I already have a few people that, is not necessarily going to be potentially in this lawsuit, but I do want to showcase the actions of what I've been going through throughout this entire ordeal in the last 48 hours or so, ever since the first episode of Dawn to Dawn came out, and I uploaded my video on it this past Wednesday. So as you can see here, this is one individual partaking in the mockery of my brother's death. We have an individual that is hoping that I basically get my brain stem stomped in and my corpse is spit on. They went on to have a lot of likes. The post is still up, by the way, not been terminated or violated any Twitter rules or anything like that. We have people making false thumbnail images of me, trying to slander me, saying I made content like this, and then trying to say, yeah, I made a video on this, when in reality, I did not. Then we have a post like this where someone put a petition out to stone me to death. AKA, there was thousands of people that liked this post. This was an early on screenshot. Sadly, I didn't get a late stage screenshot, but the last time I saw the post's likes before it got removed thanks to violations of Twitter's terms and service, it had 12,000 likes. AK 12,000 people were wishing for my death. And so we escalate all this that's been happening for the last few days to the point to where my private information has been doxed, and now the threats or death threats that I have been receiving are all more real. Very, very much real when someone posts pictures of my house and my brother's grave. FYI, I don't like to talk about this much. I talked about it briefly a long time ago because Anime Snob, can't believe I mentioned that man's name again, he
Anime snob, and to put it up to somebody, anime snob is a piece of shit. What he would do is he basically record people's videos. Sometimes he would fucking legit like just straight up record people's videos straight up and then post it. Record other people's videos and then post it and then put like a title on or take like a title about how stupid this creator is and some shit like that and a take and stuff like that. So yeah,
mocked my brother.
that's most of his most of his content creating is like. So anime snob is pretty much one of the pieces of shit in the anime community.
Death as well. They committed suicide. And obviously, I'm assuming this individual is probably from that rabid group from a long time ago. I could be wrong. We'll find out when the lawsuit gets underway. But the point of the matter is that I am a little bit concerned about my safety because obviously my girlfriend lives with me. I have two dogs that I love and a cat as well. Obviously, I'm concerned. I mean, definitely after having 10 plus thousand people wishing for my death, and literally you can go into any of my recent tweets and look at the quote retweets and seeing people actively justifying death threats against me, it's very clear that I do have some cause for concern. So thankfully, I live in Tennessee. I don't live in California or anything. I'm able to legally own a gun. I've owned this for a while, and I'm going to tell you right now, if anyone wants to pull any stupid games, you're going to win stupid prizes. That's all I'm going to say. What I will
It kind of that's what kind of remind me of the fucking Moist Critical though. Like Moist Critical's like, yo, this CD's on mags, not clips. Look fucking stupid.
say now, going one step further, I'm going to end this video here for legal reasons as well, but I am going to be protecting myself. I am definitely someone that will be watching, and if, now I got the evidence, I got screenshots, those that, are involved in this, you will definitely be hearing from my lawyer. I'll leave it at that. Once again, this is the end of it, leaving this as a paper trail. Chibi out.
Yeah. So basically, that's what's happening, and some people are condoning it. So because of that stupid tweet, this is the classic case of people cannot separate fiction from reality, right? Because clearly, Chibi does not condone rape. I just want to say that out right now. Okay? People, this is an issue with this. Is a famous quote that I've seen a lot. People treat fictional characters better than they treat real people. And that's just how it is. As stupid as it sounds, that's just how it is. People would treat fictional characters with more respect than actual people. Like legit. This happened in Twitter one time where uh what's his name? I don't remember the name, but it was one of the people that I see on my timeline where his name is the Owl. You can search it up. He makes fun of Mikasa. You know Mikasa from Attack on Titan. Yeah, he made fun of Mikasa, and people just got mad at him because he was making fun of a fictional character. And that's just the problem. People just don't know how to separate reality from fiction, so they think that, you know, people fictional characters should be treated with more respect just as regular people or even more respect than as normal people. It in the end, all these freaking fictional characters are just pieces of paper. This bunch of words on a book or a piece of freaking or a character or a freaking design on paper. Like I don't know, man. People nowadays they treat fictional characters with so much respect. It's crazy. Anyways, yeah, it's kind of happy. That's kind of happen right now. Chibi sued their asses, man, because doxing is so stupid, man. And this is not the first time this is not the first time I witnessed a dox in the anime community. I I saw Sainin Chief got doxed. People people dox it's so stupid. If you do not realize how dangerous doxing is, because that can literally legit reveal that literally shows your address. So people can come rob you if they want to or anything. Or if there's fans that live nearby, they can literally just confront him. And you know what, GB? Stay strapped, man. Just stay strapped. And I hope that anyone stupid that comes by you, bro, just pop him. Like, so dumb. Anyways, we're gonna finish up low art. We do have another video of low art I want to get into, but we're gonna finish this video first, and then we're gonna get into the other one.
Television production. And I can't even imagine how crazy that would be. To so quickly get thrust into making something like this, where so many people need to contribute, where organization is so important, where studio interests and logistical considerations go from non-entities to major points of concern. This is where business meets art. And that's gotta be tough. I mean, it certainly was for Olin.
There was no time to even construct a plan of anything. Before I knew it, I was meeting with attorneys and agents, and I had to find a place within like a week. The hardest thing for me was the loneliness. And to be honest, I didn't expect that to even be a thing. That loneliness that I would feel, it's, you either use it or you be consumed by it, you know?
All in all, while it's still clear this was a dream come true for him, there's another truth within the dream. Being a showrunner is hard.
Yep.
Heck, any creative work is hard. You spend so much time working on the thing that it's hard to know if it's even good by the time you're done with it. Or, well, at least that's how I feel. With that said, I was still curious what season 2 of Final Space would become, and hopeful that it would take the heart of the show and improve upon it. So, did it manage to do that?
Piss, pada piss, pada pa pa pada 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 piss, pada piss, pada pa pa pada 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 piss, pada piss, pada piss, pada pa pa pada pada piss.
Yeah, season 2 of Final Space is different. The humor has seen the most obvious change. While the first season certainly had its share of dark moments or jokes, there was an overall empathetic tone to it. Like, it never really wanted to lose sight of the heart of these characters among all the comedy, even if it didn't always succeed at that. Now, though? Now the humor has a crueler, more gross-out edge to it that feels more in line with a lot of other adult animated comedies. One of the most obvious examples of this has gotta be here, where we learn about a new character named Ash. She gets this terrifying, tragic backstory about her sister being consumed by this monster. She finds her inside it, but it's already too late for her. The sister's body might remain, but she is dead. So the group narrowly escapes. Ash is forced to leave her sister behind. And...
Ow! Oh, that should cover your rent. Give me the key!
Wow, they really do bounce forever. Hooray!
yeah, I mentioned the problem with Avocado's backstory and Gary's reaction to it in season 1, but this is still different. Now most of the other characters just seem flat out indifferent, and it gives the vibe that the show is too. Later, there's this whole B-plot following a guy who's nervous about getting married, but some of the characters join forces to convince him he should go through with it. So they accidentally push him out of the ship toward his bride, and...
He dies.
He isn't coming! Wait, I'm coming!
Dies.
I really don't like this. We spent a whole episode's B-plot building this up. So do we use it for interesting characterization or maybe something heartfelt? Nah, instead we get a punchline that isn't nearly funny enough to justify all that wasted time, and on top of that, just feels too mean-spirited to me. Overall, the second season has a general problem where it's like the show has been split in two. Now we have the usually serious A story involving a tragic story for one of our heroes, while the B story focuses on comedic hijinks. Unfortunately, though, I found that the nature of the comedy actively detracted and distracted from even its most heartfelt scenes. There's just this stop and start, unfocused nature to everything, and I struggled to even find some sort of basic thematic through line between the A and B plots.
Okay,
Speaking
well,
of
themes.
the plot, at the end of the first season, Gary completely failed. The Lord Commander got Mooncake, Final Space was opened, the Earth was pulled inside, and Quinn sacrificed herself to close the rift, because that way, at least there was a chance she could save Gary. It led me to believe we would kind of pick up with the same sort of plot structure and tone. However, Season 2 goes for something new. Where before the premise facilitated a fairly fast-paced serialized story, now Gary's on the hunt for 5 magical MacGuffins that will open the way to Final Space. A structure which is used to make the show more episodic, which in and of itself isn't bad, but the opening of Season 2 is really disappointing. See, all of Season 1 was building toward this scene, and so Season 2 opens with Gary happening to get picked up by a garbage collection ship and reuniting with all of his surviving companions from Season 1,
Oh.
except Quinn. And it's good that Quinn isn't back so quickly, but even so, I don't know. I just expected us to sit with Gary alone for a bit longer before he found Little Kato, Hugh, and Kevin again. And they even get another ship already. But before this season has even properly started, Another change is already revealed.
Previously on Final Space, I'm Gary. A lot of people on Reddit think I'm annoying. Well, I guess they have a point.
That's right, and what seems to be
Meta.
an effort to address criticisms, this
The meta criticism. I hate meta humor. Vic. I'm sorry. I used to don't mind it, but Vic and Morty, bro. Vic and Morty just used it to like Vic and Morty ruined it. Cause Vic and Morty blazed a trail for like fucking meta humor, then everyone started using meta humor and all these politics jokes shit like that. It's it's so stupid. I hate meta humor. I'm starting to hate meta humor. And thanks to Vic and Morty. Thanks to them.
traumatic event is used to develop Gary, making him more of a reserved straight man now, which I would have expected to like better, but again, I don't know. I think we just went back to the status quo too quickly for it to really sink in. Like, don't get me wrong, I appreciate that they toned it down a bit. Maybe for some people, Quinn being gone is enough of an additional carryover from the prior season for this to hit, but I guess I just didn't care enough about their relationship for that, and it made me a bit nervous about what else the show would quickly undo. Sadly, this is where I dropped the show, after the first episode of Season 2. I felt pretty confident that my hopes for the show wouldn't be realized, and that it simply wasn't for me. However, months later, I was watching YouTube and a clip from the show appeared in my suggested videos tab. The title had me curious, so I clicked and...
Hey, son.
What's up, Dad?
Did you get it?
Got the last piece?
Attaboy. I'm proud of you.
Why? We're trapped in here because of me.
It's been 60 years. You have to forgive yourself.
I can't.
You're a Kato. They don't mope. They do. You made a mistake, son. Now stop beating yourself up.
This scene totally got me. It's everything I had hoped Final
Oh yeah, I remember this scene actually. It's slowly all coming back to me, bro. Yeah, I remember this scene with like the older little Cardo and shit. I think he was in Final Space, but the problem is that when he came out, he was back to a kid again, man. So he has that. So it's kind of like the fucking Jean arc scenario where he has the mentality of an older person, but he's in the body of a child or a teen. I don't know. That's kind of weird to explain.
Space could become. It's so tragic. A little boy unable to come to terms with his father's death, even after growing so much older. And now he acts out his role for him in a vain attempt to convince himself that he is okay, that he's someone worth being proud of. And yet that hesitation sets in as he types the most important words. I believe in you. Like, wow, wow. So, I went back. I kept watching the show. I reached the episode, and sure enough, the whole thing was great. It didn't have any of the issues with A and B stories I mentioned. There wasn't ill-fitting comedy. No, the full context only made this better. The idea of Little Kato making a simple screw-up while flying the spaceship, getting trapped in this sort of time vortex where he lives out 60 years, slowly losing his mind, blaming himself that he and his friends got into this situation in the first place. It obviously just has a baseline level of emotion to it. But the episode builds from here, taking all that pathos from that single scene I loved so much and cranking it up in the best way possible. So we watch as Little Kato's voice for his father gets angrier and more negative with him, as his friends reject his plan to escape from this place. The words he puts in his father's mouth slowly form into this self-loathing, a reflection of his own hatred. And then there's the episode's final twist. All of these people, they are also figments of Little Kato's imagination, and that only makes this episode better. Because now
Oh yeah, this is bro. This episode is crazy, man.
every character interaction, whether these friends believe
Like we still see him going in, cause it's already like we see him already slowly going insane by the fact that freaking he's basically typing what his father is saying to him. He's basically putting his true feelings into what he's typing, and then oh but wait, no, he has his friends, so he can always fall back on them, but they actually don't exist. So, oof, man. Yeah, I remember this episode, man. It's coming back to me, man.
in his plan or not, serves as an expansion of those false conversations with his father. Another representation of his internal struggle to believe he's worth something. Finally, though, Gary and the others managed to save him, even reverting his appearance back. But maybe they didn't truly save him. After all, Little Kato still remembers everything that happened to him in there.
Yeah, so it's like the Jean Luc thing. Back in Volume 9, how he had all the memories and shit about Alex and shit and Lewis, but he's just in the body, now he's back into the body of a teenager. He still has all that memories and he still has the mind of a grown man, but he's just in a body of a teenager. Yeah.
And I was pumped to see how he was going to adjust back to normal life, following something so uniquely awful. And the way he adjusts is that he just does. Yep, this barely comes up again, and Little Kato is more or less acting the same as he was before. And like, sure, I get the season is more episodic, but it still has an overarching plot and continuity. In the end, this doesn't ruin the episode, but it certainly makes it less compelling in retrospect. Really, much like with how season 2 itself started, the show is just too quick to return to the status quo. And sure enough, it would happen again soon. Now, for many people, Avocado's death was the highlight of season 1, maybe even its big hook. Despite my issues with his and Gary's friendship, I could still appreciate it too. The tragedy of this father finally reunited with his son, only to notice the bomb strapped to his back at the last second, diving onto it while asking his best friend to take care of his son. It was certainly memorable, and the show's presentation made it clear how much this weighed on Gary. But then here, Avocado comes back to life. Now, it would be one thing if this was part of some long-running plot, something we built to over many episodes with the hero slowly coming up with a plan or gathering pieces for this, but no, they just happen to fly into a creature who sends them back through time and they go and get him in the span of a single episode. Yeah, I hate that.
Makes sense.
But does this mean I hated the whole season? No, not quite. The Other Side is still a great episode. There are other heartfelt moments that connected with me, some jokes that landed. But in the end, when all added together, I was just left confused. Because this didn't feel like the same show anymore. Sure, there were hints of it or even full episodes that would. But it often felt like I was watching a knockoff rather than the real thing. Instead of leaning into and refining its most special parts, it had gone off in a different direction, and a direction I was not fond of, despite the occasional glimmer of brilliance. And all of that left me wondering, what happened? Like, seriously, what happened? Fortunately, we've got a lot of answers, because what happened was some serious behind-the-scenes tomfoolery.
So can you talk about that process of taking it from that initial video to like a full...
Absolutely. So one of our first sessions between me and Olin was like, we were like, okay, so what are we going to do? And we were like, we decided that we want to do a show that would surprise the audience and defy expectations.
And what could be worse for a show like that than the studio interfering to tell them to make it more like other shows?
Ugh, I hate that. Just make it what you want to make. Who cares if it's like other show who defies? Who cares?
I could go into a laundry list of things that happened during Season 2. That was a battle from start to finish. More notes than I care to even think about. The short of it was the network wanted it to be a standalone and a companion to American Dad, which meant changing the DNA of the show. It sent it in a different direction that we never intended to go.
So, yeah.
Oh my god. Why not let shows be its own thing, man? Why does it have to be freaking make a show like this? Who cares, bro? Like, I hate that shit, man. Like, let it be its own fucking thing, bro.
A lot of that humor that felt not Olin to me, well, it probably...
Because fucking American Dad doesn't really follow... If I don't think it follows any continuity whatsoever. Sure, they'll reference shit like Family Guy, but it would... There's no solid continuity in American Dad, if there's any continuity in American Dad. So why try to make it like... Why did this freaking force them to make it like that, bro? Like, why did the company have to force the showrunners to make it like fucking American Dad? It's so stupid.
Probably wasn't Olin. It was a byproduct of revision after revision, studio notes piled up on studio notes, as executives tried to twist and morph the show into the American Dad companion piece it was never meant to be, which explains the more episodic nature of things, the off-kilter B-plots, and the generally different humor. In Olin's own words, the first couple episodes of the season were basically created to placate the network. Specifically, this joke apparently...
Man, fuck the network. And you know what? I'm kind of glad. I'm kind of glad Nolan is not searching for networks because, oh my goodness, man, I'm glad he's not going into Hollywood. He's not using Hollywood for Godspeed because I do not want him to ruin Godspeed. Please.
He got the network's faith back. Yeah, the piss joke. Really, creating something good is hard enough as it is. Never mind when you're dealing with stuff like this. Never mind when the studio heads hate the best episode of your show. what is your personal favorite episode?
Personal favorite episode is probably Chapter 14, The Other Side. It's everything I want the show to be, but it was a challenge to get that one made. The network hated it. We fought to keep it.
This is maddening to me. Like, I'm just a guy watching the show and I'm peeved. I can't even imagine working on it and knowing that the people funding it don't like your favorite episode, the best episode. And now it's like, maybe...
No, I don't mind people don't liking my favorite episode, but the thing is, if they're trying to fucking ruin it or trying to get it to try not to release it, I don't care if the people finally don't like it. I don't care if they don't fucking like it. They're not gonna like every fucking episode there is. But the fact they're trying to literally not get it out there because your personal feelings are fucking hurt. Come on, man. Let it go out there.
It don't like your favorite episode, the best episode. And now it's like, maybe that's why it didn't get a proper follow-up, right? It's a miracle it got included in the first place. Leaning into it more would have just been poking the bear and asking for a problem. Are the executives stupid? Am I stupid? At the end of the show's second season, Gary and the team manage to open the way to Final Space after collecting all the keys. So they enter, with Gary ready to reunite with Quinn, only to discover that this place is more dangerous than they ever could have imagined. With Invictus, a giant cosmic space demon, trying to kill them at every turn as it attempts to kidnap Mooncake and use his power to escape from here. And once Invictus is out, nowhere will be safe. In a lot of ways, this season of Final Space is instantly a massive improvement over the prior one. It's totally clear that Olin got a lot of creative control back. The story is much more focused, with both A and B plots feeling directly related to the season's premise: survive and escape Final Space. Despite being even darker than before, the humor feels less mean-spirited and abrasive. And though it takes a few episodes to get going, I found myself slipping into the show's rhythm, enjoying it again, and you know what? At times, it rivals the best moments of Season 1, providing new backstories to get me reinvested in these characters. We build on Avocado's relationship with the Lord Commander, revealing that Little Cato is really the Prince of Entrexia, and that Avocado saved his life only after murdering his parents. Then there's Quinn, who's being poisoned by her time in Final Space, so she begins hallucinating about a terrifying past with her long-dead sister, and I began to buy into her relationship with Gary, and as characters reached their lowest points, as they began to fight and argue and grow increasingly desperate, they also became well-rounded, full. The relationships felt real, and these friendships with Gary I hadn't been able to fully believe before, well, the show was doing the work, heck yeah. Now, all that being said, this season of Final Space isn't perfect, far from it. I had plenty of frustrations over its 13 episodes. Like, there's Fox and Ash, siblings who were introduced in Season 2 and sadly got lost in the shuffle of its unfocused nature. And all too quickly here, Fox is killed off to serve as a source of change in Ash, which would be a lot more effective if I truly bought into them as a pair, but oh well. Then there's Ash getting tempted by Invictus to join their side, which just doesn't feel remotely convincing to me. Invictus possessed Gary and murdered her brother. There's no way she's going to just look past that. Like, even if she leaves the main group, she wouldn't join with her brother's killer. But, I guess she would. I don't know. At times, these characters' decisions don't feel believable to me, and unfortunately, that includes big decisions. So, by the time Invictus got his grubby mitts on Mooncake and broke out of Final Space, I was left more conflicted than anything. It's not that Season 3 did a bad job, but there's just that...
I'm gonna be honest, I have not watched Season 3. I think I've only watched I only watched Season 1 and 2. I didn't get started on Season 3, so... but I don't really care. Let's get through it.
That inherent challenge of building on material that felt out of line with what the show wanted to be in the first place. That's its own challenge entirely, and though I had reached the shocking change of stakes at the end of the road, that road had a whole lot of potholes, and my car was not looking hot. But you know what? I was still in the car. I still had more gas in the tank. I mean, the show was produced during 2020, so a lot of it had to be done remotely. Again, not exactly the best circumstances for making a show. I've watched other shows that needed to slowly find their path, so maybe they just need a little more time.
Cancel space.
It sucks when a show gets canceled, especially when it doesn't get a chance to have an even remotely satisfying ending. For fans, it's just awful to know that, outside of some miraculous return, this is it. It can feel invalidating, frustrating, and genuinely make you a bit jaded about serialized television going forward. And Olin's videos around this time hurt. Even before the show's cancellation, it's clear that life is dealing him an awful hand.
My family has been having a lot of severe health issues. Starscream died. Yeah. Neighbor's dog killed her. Yeah, so the beginning of this year, a tornado destroyed the soda parlor. 6 years, 7 years, I've had that open. It's gone.
Even from the outside looking in,
Shit. I can imagine that, bro. Not only is your show canceled, but then your cat got killed by the freaking neighbor's dog. I don't know the fuck happened. Yo, I don't know what your neighbor's dog was doing, bro. And then not only that, your tornado wrecks your fucking the parlor, the shop that you had for years. It's crazy, man.
this all starts to feel absurd. Like the world is out to get him. Like that ridiculous skit from way back in the balloon shop days has become reality. This is a video of a guy coming to terms with the fact that he's lost many things he loves and that he can never get back. And as a fellow cat man, like, this video's rough. It genuinely made me tear up. And yet, Olin tries to look on the bright side.
If you're moving, you're living. Whether it's up or down, bad or good, you just gotta keep moving. The bad times should make you appreciate the good times. That's how I find a way to convert it, I have an amazing family. And for 10 years, I had a Thundercat. A larger-than-life pet. And for 6 years, I had a soda shop. I got to meet so many of you. I got to hang out. I got to connect with people. Those chapters are closed. But it doesn't mean I can't flip back and read it and experience it, It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that they're just done, that I'm going to bury it under a tomb.
But this video, like I said, it was uploaded before the show was even canceled. And so Olin put out another video about that, and
let's just rip the Band-Aid off, okay? There's going to be no more Final Space. I put all of my heart into this show.
Wait. Yeah, it was 3 seasons. Okay. Yeah. I've only watched only watched season 1 and 2. I didn't watch season 3.
I did. And maybe that's why it hurts so much.
Yeah, he's crying, bro. I understand because even since it was still, even when it was airing, the studio didn't really want to push on certain episodes and shit. So the fact that he went through that too, and then now after the first season got canceled, just like it kind of feels like they were trying to get him down. They're trying to get Final Space done for. And they almost did it with the fucking with the episode Little Cardo, and then they officially did it 3 years later. That's why I'm glad that Olin is getting back up and getting a suit for Godspeed and shit, man.
Love to put an ending to this, and if the opportunity comes years from now, I'm there. Let's go. Like, what do you need from me? I mean, I think about how it ends all the time. All the time. At least once a day. So as the lights go out on Final Space, I just want to say thank you to all of you, to the animators, to the artists, to everybody that was a part of this thing, the crew, just even TBS, everybody that breathed life into Final Space. Thank you. Thank you so much for just watching, for caring, for supporting the show in every which way you did. It means the world to me.
Yeah, this one hurts too. You can tell how much it destroys him, and how wouldn't it? All these years of work to land on this, to end here. This was supposed to be a story about hope and connecting with people and finding something to live for even in the worst of times, and it had to go out at this point, at the worst point. It's tragic. Tragic to think that someone can give their everything for something and still have it just not work out. And yet, Olin still carries that optimistic spirit with him. That view that, hey, maybe something will come of it in the future. And if not, The show is still there. Those words he said a year ago still ring true. He still needs to keep moving. Sure, the chapter might have come to its end too soon, but it still happened. You can still watch Final Space, still experience it, still enjoy it. Olin and everyone else who worked on it, they created something that never could have existed without them, something that plenty of people loved, and that deserves to be celebrated. That deserves to be remembered. That deserves to be remembered. A number of years back, the balloon shot videos suddenly vanished from YouTube. The channel had run into some sort of problem regarding Google's strange rules at the time. I'm honestly not sure what mystical dark magic was going on behind the scenes with them, but what matters is that the videos were gone. People couldn't watch them anymore. Unless you had a downloaded copy, you were out of luck. But Olin didn't let that stand. He reached out, he got in contact with the higher-ups at YouTube, got the videos reinstated, and even made a few private videos on the channel public while he was at it. As he said, this was a big part of his life, and he knows it was part of the fans, too. On the other side of this, Final Space.
5 years of my life, 3 seasons of TV, blood, sweat, and tears became a tax write-off for the network who owns Final Space. Your memory of Final Space will be the only proof it ever existed.
Final Space became a tax write-off. Just saying that, it sounds so stupid. How could a piece of art become a tax write-off? What could be more cynical than that? Like, I get it being canceled. Sure, if it wasn't pulling in high enough viewership or if something was going on behind the scenes or whatever, I might think it's a load of crap, but I get it. But stopping all distribution of physical copies, removing it from every streaming service, never airing the episodes again, never even releasing Season 3 properly, just doing everything they can to pretend it never existed, to make the world forget it existed. Final Space is far from the only show this
Oh,
is.
Infinity Train. Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Infinity Train. It's, oh, my goodness.
Happened to. Some things have gotten this treatment before they even get released, before fans
Yep.
can take matters into their own.
Oh, yeah, I remember the fucking, the cat, the
Some things have gotten
Batgirl. Yeah, and Kylie vs. Acme. Yeah, man. I was looking forward to this fucking Kylie vs. Acme. But nope. Came a tax write-off. So stupid.
This treatment before they even get released, before fans can take matters into their own hands to, at the least, preserve it. And I hate this. I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir on this, but man, it makes me genuinely angry. Art should be preserved, and there definitely shouldn't be an incentive to erase it. The idea that a showrunner can't even have a copy of their own show, that they need to go scurrying around to find some pirated version. It's inhuman. It's the type of thing that makes me hope this whole system of creating...
It's the same thing as video games, too. Like, for the older video games, especially if you're trying to run, especially when fucking, you're trying to tell people about, like, an emulator and shit. Like, for example, Nintendo. Oh my goodness, man, they cracked on anyone who tries to make a fucking emulator. It's crazy. Like, anyone who tries to make an emulator and try to share it with people, just get cease and desist, but like, what the fuck? You're trying to freaking erase all the old games, bro.
Media collapses in on itself, because if the executives at the top are willing to make such soulless decisions, then these companies deserve to crumble. I can't even imagine how Olin or the other people who worked on this show must have felt. All of that work just for this. What a complete joke. And yet, somehow, Olin kept moving. He set up a Kickstarter to create a new pilot.
Godspeed.
He would make another episode, a new
Godspeed.
show. And it quickly gathered the support it needed, with over 3,500 backers raising $464,000. And the name of this story would be
Godspeed. Yep. I actually reacted to this though. Fun fact, I actually reacted to Godspeed. I don't know what stream was it. I don't know what stream did I react on Godspeed, but I did react to Godspeed. I don't know which one. I don't know what stream it was though. That's the problem. But I can assure you that I have watched Godspeed. I just don't know. I just do not know what stream that I did it on.
As far as I'm concerned, Godspeed is an absolute triumph. First off, it's not a 6 or 7 minute proof of concept.
Nope.
No, somehow it's a full-length 24-minute episode.
Yep.
In and of itself, that's just nuts to me. Animation is notoriously expensive. I have no clue how this was made with fan backing alone.
To be honest, I'll be honest. I don't think it was just. I think Olin went into his actual pockets too. As much as I want to say that's all fan backing, I think that Olin went into his own bank account as well and put it into it. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think fan backing was enough. Again, this is assumptions. This is assumptions. This does not actually happen. But I think that Olin actually went into his own bank account as well and pitched into it.
It blows many studio-headed productions out of the water. Right off the bat, the art style is beautiful. Where Final Space invited comparisons to Rick and Morty and the like, this is far more Carmen Sandiego. And though the characters feel
It definitely is. Yeah, this is definitely Rick and Morty. Obviously, with the more, I wouldn't say it's like Rick and it's sort of like Rick and Morty because obviously the eye shapes and shit, and how like the sci-fi.
To Rick and Morty and the like, this is far more Carmen.
But let me see. Yeah, this is definitely Carmen Sandiego. I wouldn't be surprised if the studio that Olin is actually connected to is the same studio that made Carmen Sandiego. Wouldn't be surprised.
Sandiego. And though the characters feel more reserved here than in Final Space, they're equally emotive and relatable. The atmosphere Olin and his team managed to craft with the music, sound effects, and shot composition is truly immersive. However, despite the immediate differences, there are loads of little nods towards Final Space here, and it quickly becomes clear that this is a spiritual successor. Some of it is small, like the name itself being Godspeed. Gary's
last name Goodspeed, Godspeed, yeah.
Name with one letter removed. There's a Catman, repeated phrases between shows, and while Olin obviously...
And obviously, her having a robotic buddy, similar to how Gary has Kevin, except in this version, the robot here is less annoying than Kevin.
He can't use any shared characters or confirm any continuity. There is a sense that he really tried to open the door for fan theories to connect them, for this to be as much of a continuation as it can possibly be. But
or possibly some type of like alternate universe shit, or like maybe it's like because again, I don't know if this is Earth or not. I think this is Earth. I'm not too sure. I think the planet that they're on is called Earth in the show. I don't know if it's called that or something different. But honestly, yeah, this could be just a spiritual successor to Godspeed, to Final Space, and I do see that.
Honestly, the things that impressed me most were how much it refined the best parts of Final Space. While I felt Final Space often struggled to find the right balance between comedy and drama, they really found the right mix here. Given that the protagonist, Iris, is stranded on a dying planet, she's rightfully serious, determined, and melancholic. Sometimes things get dark in a...
Honestly, I'll be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Godspeed takes place in the same universe as Final Space, but it's completely divergent. That means, like, it is no connection whatsoever. It takes place in the same universe, but there's no connection. There's no, like, concrete connection. Is obviously subtle jabs and subtle hints towards it being in the same universe, but it's never concretely answered until like Olin says himself that, oh, this is actually in the same universe but not in the same, not in the same timeline or not in the same places and shit like that. So honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it takes place in the same universe as Final Space. Wouldn't be surprised at all.
Very grounded way. However, her robotic companion Bowie is always there to provide some levity, but it's never in an annoying or distracting way. There's just a sense of genuine optimism and hope to his character, which creates a natural comedy between the two of them and a great contrast with the rest of the world. Plus, Olin's voicing Bowie, and he's great. A lot of people had critiques for his voice acting in Final Space, and I definitely think he's improved here. He fits right in. However, above all of that, the thing I have to praise the most is the heart of the episode. The heart of Iris's character as she navigates this post-apocalyptic wasteland, and how much her words connected with me.
I'm not scared of dying. I'm not. I don't want to be forgotten. Don't forget us. Don't forget me.
On its own, the delivery of this line makes it emotionally powerful. But with further context, knowing that Final Space wasn't just cancelled but erased, this becomes a representation of Olin's feelings about Final Space, his way of processing and coming to terms with it the best he can, and his way of helping fans do the same. Overall, with Godspeed, there's just a sense that it's a deeply personal project. And that's not to say that Final Space wasn't, but moments like a character talking about how her shop was taken out by a tornado, that sort of thing feels almost autobiographical in nature. And it can be hard to put into words, but it creates this tone, this atmosphere that's really vulnerable, and that I was able to connect with immediately. I really hope Godspeed somehow gets made into a full show. If it does, I will be watching.
Me too.
Even so, this episode alone is already great, and whether you enjoyed Final Space or not, I highly recommend it. When I think about all the things I've discussed so far in this video, this line from Final Space is what sticks in my mind.
You will fail.
You're right. I will fail. Upwards.
That idea of failing upwards, it's a funny phrase, but it's also true. Oftentimes, that's the only way you can succeed and get better. It's to fail. Whether that's due to your own mistakes, or outside influences you had no control over, or maybe a mix of the two. You have to keep trying. Because maybe you'll fail upwards and eventually succeed. For me, as far as narratively driven content goes, Godspeed is where Olin Rogers succeeded. He had succeeded in individual episodes of Final Space, don't get me wrong. The Other Side is still a phenomenal episode of television. But Godspeed just, there's something to it, where if this gets expanded into a full series, I'm really excited to see where it goes. However, that's not all Final Space was. Final Space, in and of itself, was still a passion project. It was still something tons of people worked on and cared about.
Yeah, because don't forget, Olin had that freaking, he made a little freaking a video about Final Space for like 6 years before it 6 years before it premiered. So this man had Final Space for years in his head, and when it got canceled, it must have been impactful for him, and I'm pretty sure it was.
It just deserves to be remembered. Plenty of people love it. And that's what already makes this a happy ending to me, in a weird way. Obviously, if Final Space wasn't going to get an ending, that sucks. That would always suck. But Olin's ability to channel that emotion, to take that loss, and use it to make more art, I think that's incredibly commendable. And it makes me even happier that somehow there's a better end to this story.
This is not a joke. After 2 years of trying to complete the story to Final Space, Warner Brothers Discovery gave me a license to make one graphic novel. Just one. I just want to thank all of you for the support you've given me, and you guys rock. You really do.
Yeah, Olin gets to finish Final Space. I have no idea how on earth he swung this deal. I'm shocked. I'm shocked that it happened. But it's wonderful. It's so great that this would get to exist. And I don't know if Olin Rogers will still be taking pre-orders for that book by the time this goes up, but if he is, and you're interested in it and somehow haven't heard about it yet, go check it out. Throughout researching and creating this video, though...
Is it actually out, though? Let's see here. Final Space graphic novel. Is it out? Oh, no, it's not. I saw December the 15th. I'm like, yeah, no. 70 days. Yeah. I don't know how long the graphic novel is gonna be, but hey, at least gets to end. He gets to end his show, bro. The show that he had for so many years before it got premiered, bro. I'm glad.
Oh, there have been a few phrases that Olin used that have stuck with me, and one of those is right here.
My hope is that the show sparked at least one person to go out and make their own story, then it was all worth it. It was all worth it. Because that, to me, giving somebody inspiration is one of the most beautiful and pure things that you could possibly do. And that would mean it was worth it to me.
I'm sure plenty of people have been inspired by Olin's work on Final Space. But even before that, I know for a fact a lot of people were inspired by his own work, by his work on Balloon Shop. I'm one of those people. I mentioned it offhandedly before, but really they were a big part of me thinking about YouTube, considering it, going, hey, maybe I'd want to make some videos someday. So Olin has definitely inspired people, both with his story here in Final Space, before that with Balloon Shop, and after that with the way he was able to take something so terrible and turn it into fuel for great art. So, thank you to Olin for the inspiration, and thank you for watching.
Yeah. So let's see here. I'll show you what it looks like. Oh, right here. So, if you ever want to watch Godspeed, the pilot, you can go on his channel, and you literally just go on his channel. You see it right there at the home page. Yeah, see, look, cartoon pilot. He literally made a pilot 8 years ago. But again, if you want to see it, if you want to see the cartoon, if you want to see Godspeed, here it is right here. It's in his own YouTube channel. You can check on that there. I enjoyed Godspeed as much as I say right there. Let's see here. Let's talk about let's see here. What else videos do we have? Does he have a new video? Yes, he does. Black conservative perspective. Let's go. Black conservative perspective. Let's do this shit.
I want to start though with Steph.
Yeah, Stephanie.
Because Stephanie,
You were a banner.
Mika likes watching Fox News.
No, I
And
don't
she
like
keeps
it, but I do
on
watch it.
all day, just to be like to catastrophize.
No.
And yesterday I noticed that Howie Kurtz was saying that you launched a softball interview with Kamala Harris. And you seem to be the running banner for about 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
What a softball interview this interview was. Of course, nothing like Donald Trump and Sean Hannity, I'm sure. But I'm just curious what your thoughts were about Fox News desperately suggesting that she bombed a softball interview.
Well, to Fox News, I would say thank you, because as I learned from Donald Trump, all press is good press, so I am thrilled to be all over their airwaves all day long.
Could I buy one of your watches when you do a brand of watches?
Yeah, it was great because I was watching Fox News, and I'm now excited about Melania's memoir. I'm going to have to pick that up this weekend, and I can get a silver coin that Donald Trump launched on Monday. Obviously, one of the 100 grand watches, and I haven't gotten my sneakers yet, but I'm sure they can tell me where to get them. No, that's nonsense. Obviously, for anybody who watched the interview I did with Vice President Harris, we sat down for 25 minutes, and we talked about one single topic. The economy. It is the #1 issue for
25 minutes. You're with Trump's been speaking. You be speaking for Trump for like an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours. We have half an hour for Kamala Harris. Come on, bro. Won't you speak on other topics, bro?
Voters, if Donald Trump would like to sit down and have that same conversation, I'm ready for you. And I think it's hugely important, and it's a vulnerability for both candidates. But it's really tricky, Joe, because, you obviously want to cover all of these topics, but to just do it with one candidate, it's hard because many people feel like she's speaking in platitudes. She's speaking about an economic vision, and she's not giving.
Yeah, that's the problem. The issue was that she has a vision, but she's not telling you how she's gonna achieve that vision.
Details. She's got an 80-page detailed policy proposal. And do I...
Okay, let's be honest here. Do you think people are gonna read that? Let's be honest, dude. Do you really think that people are going to read an 80 paper, whatever? And even if then, why didn't know? I don't think, from what I've seen, she hasn't really talked about that 80-page document, whatever. So she's not even promoting it. And again, let's be honest here. Who's gonna read 80 pages of that? Nobody. So why not just say the basic gist of those papers?
I think that she answers every single question and gives people exactly what they want. She doesn't.
Then why people are still doubting her then? Why people still saying they don't really know nothing much about her? Why people still saying that if they already know? If he says she gives her every answer clearly.
Why? Because she's a politician.
All right, guys.
And you don't realize that politicians can, lie. Trust me, there's more than. Trust me, bro. People who tell the truth, people who are pure-hearted in politics, they don't last long, and that's just how it is. They gotta do some connection somehow. And Kamala Harris, she did it. She sucked her way to the top, literally.
So I went back and forth for a long time about whether or not I wanted to cover this story, because this story right here is almost like a water is wet type of story, where it's like, duh. I think everybody kind of knew this was the case. And I guess now we have proof and evidence that this is, in fact, the case, that MSNBC is a propaganda outlet for the Democrat Party, that they do not do real journalism. And this is something I've talked about for a while now. Okay, I have really tried to sound the alarm on the network, the platform that MSNBC has become, right? They don't even pretend to do journalism, right? They're just overtly rooting for the Democrat Party and Kamala Harris. And now we have proof and evidence that they're doing this on purpose, okay? Because James O'Keefe, the founder of O'Keefe Media Group, did an undercover investigation in which a MSNBC producer admitted on camera that, yeah, our network is just a propaganda arm for the Democrat Party, and we're openly trying to get Kamala Harris elected. Take a look.
Working at MSNBC.
What do you do? What's your title?
Writer, producer. So I a live news show on the weekends.
So do you feel like MSNBC is doing enough to help the Harris campaign?
I mean, they're doing all they can.
Which is what?
Oh, you stupid. Yo, you got exposed hard. Damn.
What have they done to help the Harris campaign?
Amplify her message. What her message of the day is their message of the day.
Does any party?
What you were saying earlier, that the MSNBC aligns too closely with the Democratic Party line.
Yeah, so they're often saying the same exact things. The type of people who work in Democratic politics and in the campaign are a lot of the same type of people that would appear on air on MSNBC. It hammers home the point that I'm making, that this news network is indistinguishable from the party.
Are they just the Democratic Party's mouthpiece?
Exactly.
MSNBC is the Democratic Party's mouthpiece.
Yes.
So is MSNBC just like doing whatever it takes to get Kamala elected?
Yes.
Even if there are like clear contradictions that would potentially alienate some of the viewers?
Yes, but unfortunately...
That's bad journalism, right?
It is, but unfortunately, they've made their viewers dumber over the years. Fortunately, they're not brainwashing people with racist propaganda like Fox.
Meanwhile,
Moore County, Tom Schaller, and
That is a crazy. Oh, that is a crazy exposure, bro. That is crazy. That kind of shows you that they don't really care about. I mean, Greg Foreman over here. He kind of knew from the beginning that, MSNBC is pretty much a Democratic mouthpiece. Well, one of the Democratic mouthpieces, but. Damn, for the producer to outright say that, bro, that's crazy.
journalist and opinion writer Paul Waldman. Their new book, out tomorrow, is entitled White rural rage, the threat to American democracy. And Tom, we'll start with you. Why are white rural voters a threat to democracy at this point? You would think, as we pointed out, looking at Joe Biden's background and Donald Trump.
The reason why the white rural rage are a threat to democracy is because they're voting for Trump. Most of them are voting for Trump, so that therefore they're also affected to democracy. That's why they're saying that.
That the opposite would be true.
I mean, we lay out the fourfold connected threat that white rural voters pose to the country. First of all, and we show 30 polls and national studies to demonstrate this, so we provide the receipts in Chapter 6. They're the most racist, xenophobic, anti-immigrant, and anti-gay geodemographic group in the country. Second, they're the most conspiracist group. QAnon support and subscribers, election denialism, COVID denialism and scientific skepticism, Obama birtherism. Third, anti-democratic sentiments. They don't believe in an independent press, free speech. They're most likely to say the president should be able to act unilaterally without any checks from Congress or the courts or the bureaucracy. They're also the most strongly white nationalist and white Christian nationalists. And fourth, they are most likely to excuse or justify violence as an acceptable alternative to peaceful public discourse.
So you mentioned a
Can
lot of
you give an example of all those shit you just said, or you just shit it out your ass?
negative factors about this.
Like, first of all, how did you figure out all of this to be factual? What test did you do for this to happen? Because you can just say that and then nothing will happen. Like,
graphic.
But particularly post-Trump, from Trump on, they've really narrowed their audience's mind to the point where even when guests go on their show to criticize Democrats, people get mad at the guests.
We got to come out and try to figure out how to turn out in large historic numbers, because we got to keep this troglodyte out of office. Because if he comes in, our babies are going to be in danger. Because remember, those young children are going to grow up with the memory of having to not go to school for the threat of bombs, when she needs to bust him in his mouth.
And also, those are hoaxes, so...
I'm saying it like that because he's dangerous. He's dangerous to particular people.
But then again, how come you guys are not living those lives, those terrible lives that you're living in now? He's been a president before. Yeah, come on, he's this random guy that put out of nowhere. No, he's been a president before, and all that shit didn't happen. So what happened, dude?
Do you feel like MSNBC doesn't necessarily tell the truth?
I think they do from their perspective, yeah.
And just because they do it from their perspective, doesn't mean that's actually the right. It means actually the truth. Just so you know, just because you believe it from your perspective, doesn't mean that's actually true. So basically, they think that they're telling the truth, but they can also actually be lying as well. So
they do.
But from like an objective standpoint,
it's very partisan Democrat. Their problem, and I think they would have a bigger audience. It would be if they were less tied to the Democratic Party itself. They should be progressive. They should tell the truth from a progressive perspective, but they shouldn't be tied to a political party.
how are they currently tied to the Democratic Party?
They just are way too cozy with Democratic politicians.
How? I can't tell.
If you watch an interview with a Democratic politician, they just finish each other's sentences. The anchor and the politician are just in total agreement about everything.
I just want to ask you yes or no. At any point in your life, have you served 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, working at a McDonald's? Yes or no? That's it. I have. Okay.
Yeah, none of these things have surprised me because...
Oh my... I mean... Damn! Yo, shout out to Greg for the editing, bro. That's crazy.
Basically, everything he said during this undercover interview
was true.
Right? Investigation, whatever you want to call it. I'm not entirely sure why these people decide to put all their business out to expose the goods on these random dates. I mean, these people must be desperate, right? I mean, these must be desperate men working at a lot of these liberal media networks, and they are just...
I mean, you're right. You mean Greg. You said they ain't got no testosterone. So they're gonna do everything to get them on the on that in there. They're gonna do anything to get in the women panties. You know what I'm saying?
In awe that probably some pretty girl decided to go out on a date with them, and they just pour their hearts out. Right? I will never get it. I will never understand it. But this is what we have here. Okay, and I'm not surprised.
I'm sorry, but he's fired. If I search up his name right now, I'm pretty sure she's gonna be fired.
Because they basically say this out loud on their own network, right? They literally have the mentality now at MSNBC that, hey, we need to put journalism aside because Trump evil, Trump bad. It's not about policy, okay? It's not about the truth. It's about stopping Trump. That's what it's about. So they think it's okay to throw out the rules of journalism, okay, in favor of trying to help Democrats get elected. And this is so obvious that even somebody like Anna Kasparian, who, at least up until recently, was on the left, but even she could see the overt partisan hackery from MSNBC. And I want to play this clip of her recently going off on Joe Scarborough for.
I think people can already see it. They just want a confirmation, and they got it. So thank you, producer.
Essentially saying out loud that it's totally fine to be overtly in the bag for the Democrat Party, although MSNBC claims to be a news network. Take a look.
But there's a false equivalency going on in the coverage of this race.
Their objectivity actually is not objective at all. It ends up playing to Donald Trump's advantage every day.
In an effort to appear balanced, to appear objective, mistakes are absolutely being made, and standards are being applied to both candidates here when Donald Trump is a different animal. He is an insurrectionist.
Well, the crew over at Morning Joe on MSNBC, the same crew that wanted Biden to continue running in this presidential race, despite the fact that he was suffering from clear cognitive decline. Yeah, those people, they're furious that journalists would have the audacity of ever reporting anything negative on the Democratic nominee, Kamala Harris, because Trump he's a special threat. And so since they've decided that Trump is a very special threat, well, then journalists should hide information about Kamala Harris from you.
Yep, that is overt deception.
So
because deception is basically, if you don't guys know what deception is, basically either lying to you or hiding info from you to make you go to another to make you go to a result that they want to. So yeah, that is clearly overt deception.
Don't vote for Trump, and definitely vote for Kamala Harris. In other words, they want the media to manipulate you and do the exact opposite of journalism. Don't believe me? Well, why don't we hear co-host Mike Barnicle make his case?
But there's a false equivalency going on in the coverage of this race, in that Donald Trump can say whatever crazy things he wants to say about submarines and sharks and electric batteries, whatever he wants to say. And it's not really covered in the sense that it's covered describing who said it, why he said it, and who the man is, Trump, out of his mind. And always in that story, in the equivalency, the false equivalency by too many reporters and too many American newspapers. There's also, by the way, Kamala Harris changed her mind on fracking. They always throw in something like that in coverage of the story. It's ridiculous. We don't cover the man for how dangerous he is.
Yeah, so again, it's so obvious that even...
But again, Kamala Harris changed her mind on fracking, but yet nobody's asking her why she did it. What made her change her mind? Nothing.
People like Anna Kasparian can see that MSDNC is a propaganda outlet. Now, here's the thing, right? I don't have a problem with MSNBC being a propaganda outlet. What
he has a problem with is that they're trying to say, well, I know he's gonna say, what he has a problem with is that they're trying to act like they're an actual news network when they're actually not. So, what for him is like basically, listen, take off that mask and just be yourself, man. Be who you really want to be. If you want to be a Democratic fucking if you want to be a Democratic fucking news channel, then overtly just be one. Just admit that you're a Democratic channel. There's nothing wrong about that. I think that's what Greg's going to say.
I have a problem with is the fact they're not honest about it. Okay?
Yeah. See, that's the saying. They're not freaking taking off the mask and just say, you know what? We love the we're Democratic News Network. That's how it is. That's how it's gonna be. If you don't like it, don't watch us. Go watch Fox News some shit.
Okay, when you are overtly a propaganda outlet and then you basically pretend as if you're news or that you are doing journalism,
or you are being objective, or how you are equal on both sides.
That is what I have an issue with, right? Just be honest about who you are and the message that you are presenting, right? That you're not doing down the middle, fact-based reporting and journalism. In fact, a vast majority of MSNBC is not news, right? They don't do any original news coverage. I think there was a study that was done that showed only 15% of MSNBC's coverage is actually news, right? The other 85% is just opinion commentary, right? And that's fine, but don't call yourself news, right? Just say, hey, we are a propaganda outlet. We're a glorified YouTube channel on national television, because that's what they are, right? And it's so funny because somebody tweeted at me when Sean Hannity interviewed Trump and said, oh, why don't you call out Sean Hannity for giving Trump a softball interview? Well, I'm like, Sean Hannity is not a journalist, right? Sean Hannity is a commentator, and he doesn't even pretend to be a journalist. Like, he has never claimed to be a journalist. However, you have...
They did the exact same thing for Elon Musk, too. When Elon Musk and Trump are having a conversation on X, people are kind of complaining that, yo, why does it, like, want to do more harder questions, shit like that. Just like, first of all, Elon ain't no damn journalist. You think the amount of money that he has more money than any journalist in the U.S. combined. Okay, if you combine every journalist salary in the U.S., matter of fact, combined over Canada too, he is beating you. He has more money than any journal. No, I'm gonna say this. He has more money than every journalist in the world combined. So do you think he can't be a journalist? No.
Joy Reid, who on her LinkedIn, the first...
Joy Reid, she is a self-proclaimed journalist.
First title that she claims is journalism, and she's definitely not a journalist, right? She is not a journalist at all. But what I hate the most is when you weaponize the title of journalist to essentially try to present yourself as the arbiter of truth, right?
Yeah, or like the appeal to authority, right? With that, they're gonna make the Democrats appeal to authority, be like, hey, since Joy Reid said this, therefore it's correct, and she's an authority on journalism, so what she says is correct. It's the appeal to authority. It's the appeal to authority argument, because someone in a high position said it. That means they're correct. No.
To add more weight to the things that you say. And that's what I can't stand the most about MSNBC and CNN. CNN does the same thing, right? Even though they're not as overtly partisan as MSDNC, they certainly try to be at times, and then they disguise their partisanship as, well, we're just doing journalism, right? When they're not doing journalism, they're basically in the same boat as MSNBC. They just do a better job at hiding it, right? And the thing that I can say about Fox News is that Fox News, they're kind of upfront about their people, right? When they're not actually really journalists, when they're doing opinion commentary, they're upfront about it, right? And they're just kind of telling you that, hey, we're doing opinion commentary here. We're not doing journalism, okay? But Fox News actually does more news reporting than MSNBC, okay? That's the difference. So when somebody who claims to be an opinion commentator that does not claim the title of journalist, when they are giving softball interviews to political candidates, I don't have a problem with that, because again, they're not journalists, okay? And the title of journalist should be reserved for those at the very top of the field that really do just call it down the middle, right? That really are not partisan hacks that are like, no, I am actually trying to adhere to the standards of journalism, right? Which is, again, not something that you see on outlets like MSNBC at all, right? I can't think of any one of their mainstream hosts that I would say is a journalist. Now, on Fox News, I can point out individuals like Shannon Bream or Brett Baer like those are journalists, right? Those are actual journalists, okay? And they don't softball Republicans in the same way that MSNBC softballs Democrats, right? They don't do that, okay? They try to at least appear to be neutral in regards to interviews and stuff like that, right? So again, it just depends on the person that you're talking about. But when you're talking about the network as a whole, Fox News, again, they at least have journalism, okay? I can't say that at all about MSNBC, okay? CNN sometimes has journalism, but again, they try their best to be MSNBC. They just are not as overt about it, right, in regards to the partisan hackery, okay? So to me personally, I'm not surprised at all by these revelations. I mean, this is a water is wet moment, right? The earth is round type of moment, right? Where it's like, okay, well, we kind of already knew this, but now we know for sure, okay, that this is what they're trying to do. And that's why when people watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why people don't really credit him. Some ordinary gamers has some news on some Ubisoft. So let's hear about that. I was watching some of it, but
Get tickets now for Piece by Piece with the greatest lineup ever assembled.
And obviously, for a gamer, unless you're invested, stock price means effectively nothing to you. But if you're Ubisoft's executive team, you're fucking shitting yourself. Because what's happening is the shareholder is going to come knocking down, and they're going to start asking you, hey, pal, why is our investment worth what we put into it? And then they have to explain to them, oh, yeah? We're delaying Assassin's Creed, one of our biggest games ever. And by the way, that Star Wars game, yeah, that sold like hot ass, apparently. Hot ass and you.
Legit, it only sold 1 million copies worldwide. That's crazy.
Ubisoft's case is like apparently 1 million copies, which obviously doesn't cover the insane development cost of these rising quadruple A games. But also, it doesn't even cover things like marketing, to be honest. The amount of money spent to make a video game is actually mind-blowing. Now, obviously, in comparison to their big competitors, here's Electronic Arts, okay? You know, they had a little slump in 2009, but oh,
Jesus Christ, that a big-ass slump. What are you talking a little slump?
And behold, they are actually rising up to levels that they have never even touched before. It's actually insane. What about companies like Take-Two? Yeah, they're rising like crazy,
Yep, 2K.
actually. You know, they had a bit of a slump, but you know what's going to shoot them to the moon? Next year, hopefully a game launches known as Grand Theft Auto 6.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, look at that. Because look, this is legit just Grand Theft Auto. This spike is really because of Grand Theft Auto. Legit. This is the reason why.
That's going to print more money than Ubisoft is actually looking at for this year that's coming up. It's actually so bad at the company that apparently Ubisoft has actually launched a new branch, a new investigation as to why they're fucking up so bad. So I'm going to just cut the...
Hi, Ishvani. Or Ishan V.
...board over here, and I'm going to go over why I personally think Ubisoft as a company is actually dying. So to give you a quick idea, I love video games from Ubisoft. You know, I'm somebody that loves the Assassin's Creed franchise.
Oh yeah, I love the old Assassin's Creed. Altair, Ezio. I even love fucking like Black Flag and shit, bro. Like, trust me. It's Ubisoft. It has the potential to make good games, but they just don't want to.
Franchise, like I've covered it extensively. I've played nearly every mainline game. You know, it's one of those franchises where I've put so much of my time into that I pretty much play every new release, you know, when I reasonably can. Nowadays, for the last couple releases, I pretty much just pick these games up as soon as they hit the sale after launch, which is usually in 1 month at this point, and I just play the game right there and then. So obviously, you know, with
yeah, me too. Honestly, I remember I was playing Odyssey, and it was so weird. I played Odyssey for like a week, and I just fell out of it. Like, I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of this whole RPG fucking phase, because they doesn't really focus on assassinations anymore recently.
These Assassin's Creed titles, if you've played the most recent ones, they've upgraded from actually being in a city, which, you know, when they were making games like Assassin's Creed Unity, Syndicate, those games took place in like Paris and London respectively, and they were really good renders for the time. We're talking about graphics that still hold up to this day. The amount of NPCs on screen alone actually still blow my mind.
Yeah, because it makes it feel so lively. It makes it feel like an actual city. Because obviously Paris and London, they have a lot of people in them. So when you see a lot of NPCs just fucking around, either dancing or talking about the news, or just fucking or like messing around with each other, it makes it feel so real. Because obviously it feels realistic. Because back in those days, Paris and London are still they were very big cities, and obviously nowadays they still are. So to see that much people and see all these different AIs just goofing around is just funny.
Like, there is a lot of good stuff associated with those specific Ubisoft games. But let's go on a little forward to games nowadays. Those same games apparently are now just run in countries. So with Assassin's Creed Origins, you play in Egypt, which is a fan favorite. I enjoy it. I thought it was a pretty decent game. Then they released Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which took place in Greece, and obviously, you know, it was a pretty decent game as well, too. Then Valhalla comes out, which takes place in England, and to be honest with you, it feels like one biome throughout the entire game. So this is a website known as How Long to Beat, and if you look at their actual explanation, Assassin's Creed Valhalla takes 61 hours to beat through the main story. And they're not wrong. It does actually take 61 hours to beat the main campaign for this title. But there's a lot of games, Mutahar, that take that much time to beat too. I mean, apparently the new Yakuza game, which I still haven't finished, takes that much time as well. Games that are typically RPGs kind of have a 60-hour runtime. That's almost like a sweet spot. Except the only difference with Assassin's Creed Valhalla is most of that game time, 30% of this hour mark, is actually enjoyable. Everything else is effectively just trudging slop that you have to go through to get your character skill rating high enough to finish level-gated content. For most of the side stuff that's available in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, players will acknowledge that their side quests literally last like 5 minutes at the most. Usually the game has them teetered across throughout the world, and they're just world events that take, again...
And I'm gonna be honest here, for me personally, I don't really skim through like side quests. I typically do them all. Like for example, like Spider-Man. For Spider-Man, like for PS4 Spider-Man and Miles Morales, I legit did all the side missions, did all the collectibles and all that shit. Like when it comes to certain games, I tend like Spider-Man was actually my first platinum. When it comes to certain games, I tend to be a completionist. So if I was trying to complete like something as big as Valhalla, it would take me over 100, almost 150 hours. Because that's just the best case scenario. That's just the best case. That's just if I don't die multiple times, or if I don't fail a mission multiple times. So like legit, that's like the best case scenario. I don't die in any missions. How long would it take me?
5 minutes to complete. There's no traditional side quest that I would really write home about. There's not much in this game that anybody should really be bothering to play. And it's one of those textbook examples of like a Ubisoft open world, right? When we talk about Ubisoft open worlds, we literally talk about, you know, opening up the map screen and just effectively seeing multiple points on a map. That tower to climb, so you can hit the synchronize button and see everything around you, which is what Ubisoft is doing at their company while they're investigating why they're so bad. Or occasionally you'll find like a few landmarks to do a collectathon on, like grab 30 of these artifacts, and maybe you get a cosmetic or a special like 5-second cutscene that probably doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. These are all aspects of Ubisoft games that are just annoying to play. It's content for the sake of content and not content that meaningfully engages a player in a manner that is reminiscent of older Ubisoft games. There was a time when this style of gameplay was absolutely something that everyone wanted to copy. You know, if you fire up Assassin's Creed 2, I guarantee you, if you give it a chance, you'll probably end up no-lifing that game all the way through. It's because the content in that game, while being an open world, is meaningful, it's engaging, and it's stuff that isn't necessarily going to make you sit past playing the game for 25, 30 hours.
And not only that, it just has to be fun. That's just the baseline thing. It doesn't have to be meaningful. It doesn't have to be meaningful. It just has to be fun. And I'm sorry, man. The recent ones just aren't fun.
In the time span it takes
Well,
to finish...
no, I'm not gonna say not fun, but they're not as fun as the originals, man. They're just not at that level. So you have the expectations so high, and you get to something so average or even mediocre. Just like, I don't even want to play this. I'll probably just get for the main story at least, and then that's it. I don't even touch the game.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla once, you can realistically play through like 2/3 of the Ezio trilogy and enjoy more of your time playing an Xbox 360 game than a current day quadruple A PlayStation 5 Xbox Series X release. So, all right, that's my Assassin's Creed spiel right there. And obviously, Assassin's Creed is really important for Ubisoft, which is why they're delaying Shadows. Like, at the end of the day, if Assassin's Creed doesn't succeed for them, that's effectively like Grand Theft Auto not succeeding for Rockstar Games, okay? Every other IP for them is secondary, but the main bread and butter that has put them effectively on the map
Was
is Grand
Assassin's.
Theft Auto. As much as people love Red Dead Redemption, Grand Theft Auto will and always be the game that gets more eyes than anything Rockstar produces.
Yep.
And that's kind of the same pigeonhole that Ubisoft has put themselves into. Assassin's Creed is what draws in the honey. But obviously, every other game they release, kind of takes the second banana to it. So the other big thing that I realized why Ubisoft's kind of failing is their incessant reliance on shit like live service games. Now
This is something I also hate as well. I'm starting to hate live service games. Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, Gotham Knights, like I hate live service. Freaking Avengers, like live service games nowadays are starting to fucking piss me the fuck off. It's so annoying, man. And fucking NBA 2K is trying to follow that same mantra by having a whole season pass and shit. It's like, what the fuck, man? Like, come on.
Bones, and if you're looking at these Steam charts to it, guys, 191 players playing 40 minutes ago. And you might be like, but
it's so funny how Skull and Bones try to be Sea of Thieves so badly, but it's failing miserably.
Muda. It's a quadruple A game. Yes, Ubisoft, I shit you not, considers this game to be quadruple fucking A. Now, what is a quadruple A game, ladies and gentlemen? I couldn't begin to tell you. Apparently, a quadruple A game probably just refers to the amount of money they have to spend. So there's one YouTuber known as NDMai on TV ended up making a video where he talked about how much money was actually spent allegedly in games like Skull and Bones. So listen to this one right here. Insane shit, by the way.
We have seen multiple different versions of the game that were each completely different over the years. They said that they were told that the budget that was spent on Skull and Bones, it ranged somewhere from $650 to $850 million over 10 years.
Oh, wow. Oh, Andy Montevi. I know him. He's the same guy I was talking about the rumors about Yasuke's role and how it might be diminished or completely gone. But 800 million over 10 years. That's fucking crazy. For a game that's for a game that's basically a freaking mediocre version of Sea of Thieves. That's crazy.
Ooh, $650 to $850 million? Ooh.
You're not getting that money back. I'm sorry. You're not getting that money back, Ubisoft.
That's a lot of money spent on an IP right there. And let me tell you, I have made dumb purchases. I think, I want you to think to yourself, what is the stupidest thing you've ever bought? Okay, what is the most amount of money you've ever wasted it?
Most amount of money I ever wasted on something. Let's see here. The most money I ever wasted on was a fucking controller. Yep, I'll say it. The most money I ever wasted on was a PS4 controller. Now, the PS4 controller wasn't an actual controller. It was actually a bootleg controller. So, it was around I think it was like 20, 30 bucks. It was working at some point, but it'll have one of these episodes where it will automatically turn off and then you have to fucking flick the button back on. It was annoying. I'm so happy I got a new official controller, so now I don't have to deal with those problems. But yeah, back in that was the most dumbest thing that ever. That's probably the most expensive dumb thing I ever bought was a bootleg PS4 controller because it was cheaper. Right, I'll admit it was cheaper. I didn't have that much money at the time. I didn't have enough money to get the official controller because the official controller is still the same price as the fucking video game, right? So I'll get the controller, right? I have the controller in my hand. I'll get the controller, and then it was a white one. I had it, it was good, but then it would always have these repeating episodes where it will automatically turn off and I have to turn it back on, and it will always do that, especially when I'm online. Except when I'm online on like when I'm playing like 2K, and when I'm online, you can't like you're online, right? So there's no pause button, there's no nothing. So you either fucking it's either you fucking it's either you fucking either you help and press the fucking button, or you get a fucking turnover or some shit. So it's a stupid shit. I'm glad that I got a new official controller, but it's that same shit that happens, which is fucking annoying. So yeah, that's part of the most recent years that's the most dumbest thing I ever spent on. Because short term it worked, but long term it's not the same as an actual controller. So
And honestly, if you feel bad about it, immediately remind yourself that this gaming company thought that this pirate game somehow needed to cost 650 to 850 million dollars. Now, I have a hard time believing this, and this is the only guy who brings this up, like it's their source. So obviously, take this all with a grain of salt.
yeah.
But let's assume that this game that got restarted numerous times actually did cost 650 to 850 million dollars over the course of all these years to develop. Just what the fuck is Ubisoft thinking? To give you an idea, this is what the first bit of gameplay looks like for this game. This is back in 2017. The
Bro, you can tell me right now that's not Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I wouldn't even know.
final release does look different than this, but there's one thing about this footage that immediately comes to my head. And it's not Skull and Bones. It's the fact that I'm looking at Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag's gameplay.
Legit, I just said it. This is legit. This is like Black Flag. This is legit Black Flag.
Just with a new coat of paint. I mean, honest to God, if you put those games next to each
Even the fucking even the fucking what's that term called? Even the fucking distance sight is this similar, man. Oh my goodness.
each other. You looked at things like this spyglass mechanic,
Yep.
the way the camera is orbiting around the ship.
Yep, the camera angles are this is legit Black Flag. If you look at the camera angles closely, if you look at the camera angles in Black Flag, this is legit Black Flag.
The way the combat is performed. I mean, literally, I swear to God, this is just Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag and the Assassin's Creed Odyssey gameplay just put into this engine. So the fact that this MMO is suddenly a quadruple A,
I wouldn't be surprised if they did that, because I'm pretty sure they already had like resources or like parts from Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and then they just put it they refined it and shit for Sea of Thieves. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't do that.
game, it shows me that it's probably because of the amount of money Ubisoft has put into this, and it certainly isn't the fact that this is innovating in some new form of gameplay.
No.
Look, this is one of those things where I feel like the distinction for live service stuff should be made pretty well. I don't think live service games are
That's the issue. They try to be like Fortnite so badly, or like fucking they try to like Fortnite or PUBG so badly, but they fail at it miserably. The only one I can see that succeeded was Apex, and like Apex succeeded, Valorant succeeded, and Warzone succeeded. All the other games, Concord or all those other things, it is flops, bro. Overwatch 2 flopped. Like, come on, man.
are necessarily a great like mega evil if done right, okay? So a game like Rainbow Six Siege, which is another Ubisoft product, was a game that came out, and the first and foremost thing they did was produce new maps every season, new operators. It had a rough launch, don't get me wrong, but obviously as Ubisoft stuck to something that was actually unique for them, a competitive shooter with destructive walls.
Oh, Rainbow Six. I remember my friends used to talk about that game so much. They used to have my friends had a PCs and shit, and they will fucking grind on it, man. I didn't have Rainbow Six Siege. I wasn't really playing that. I was more of a Call of Duty guy. So, like, for me, I always sort of feel left. Always sort of feel like left out when they were playing Rainbow Six Siege and shit like that, and having fun. I'm like, I wish I had fun too, but they get pretty competitive, and they're playing ranked matches. I'm just like, yeah, I don't want to ruin their rank, so I would not play it. Plus, I never had enough money to buy the game, so I just never really bothered on getting a Rainbow.
and dynamic gameplay, which is something nobody else was making, was something Ubisoft, in my opinion, I think now looking at it, got pretty lucky. But obviously, it's producing content first and then worrying about the over monetization later. Look, with games like Call of Duty, I know we like to bitch about it, but at the end of the day, think about what you get with a Call of Duty purchase every year. You get a campaign, you get a co-op mode, sometimes it's zombies, sometimes it's special operations, whatever. And then you get a full multiplayer suite with full game modes, maps, weapons. Things change.
And zombies.
Every year. Like, honestly, we can live in rose-tinted glasses, but buying a copy of Call of Duty now effectively gives you the same level of gameplay content as a $60 Call of Duty purchase 10, 15 years ago, right? So the thing about this game is obviously Ubisoft.
But the issue is that at least the campaign and back in those Call of Duty were actually good. That's one thing.
Has produced Skull and Bones, and in no way does this innovate on any new gameplay idea.
Nope.
So giving us the gameplay
because again, Ubisoft already has experience in these pirate things because they made Black Flag. So this Skull and Bones should not be that expensive to make if they already have the resources of a pirate game since they made Black Flag.
Of Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, yet with a fraction of the content, day one for the same price, while forcing me to be connected online to play it, is not something that's going to be an easy pill to swallow. So right now, there's 191 people playing this on Steam, and at an all-time peak, it's 2,581 people. Now, sure, you might be like, but Muda, maybe like 200,000 people bought it on on Uplay. I'm gonna get the laughing out of the way already. I'm gonna get that out because I guarantee you this game probably sold less than fucking Concord. I'm not even joking. This might have actually sold worse than Concord. So Suicide Squad, in comparison, has 167 people playing the game as of 34 minutes ago. And mind you, this dog shit just got a massive content update. Again, the problem with these live service games is producing the same game that we've already seen for 10 years. Like, there's nothing in these looter games that I haven't seen being done in games.
Do I do ARGs? Not really. I'll talk about them here and there, but I don't really do ARGs.
Games like Borderlands, which run offline, locally. There's nothing I've seen in, like, Skull and Bones that even rivals the gameplay of Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. And that shit runs locally on a Nintendo Switch nowadays. So it's insane to see this kind of stuff happen. And Ubisoft is suddenly playing this shocked game where they're like, whoa, I can't believe people aren't enjoying this $70 game that is some live service early access slop we threw up that obviously people don't feel is worth their time and money. So even beyond all of it, the other big failure that they have going for them is a game known as X-Defiant. So right now...
Oh shit. I completely forgot that even existed. I completely forgot X-Defiant even existed. Oh god.
According to Tom Henderson, X-Defiant is on borrowed time as the player numbers actually decline rapidly. So that's never something you want to hear if you're a game developer or a publisher. But this is a game that exceeded 1 million players in the first 2.5 hours it ever released. So it's actually a record for them, and it was pretty hyped. But nowadays, if you actually look at the amount of people playing this on something like Twitch, it's got 3.1 thousand viewers. Now, Twitch viewers are not a direct correlation to people playing a video game. But generally speaking, when this game has lost so much of its luster, I refuse to believe that there's an actual player base.
Thank you, BirdPop14 for the sub. We're now 54 strong. It's hit 60 by the end of the month.
That Ubisoft can sustain a massive AAA free-to-play game off of. But if you look at the actual gameplay for this, what's important is it's nothing different than Call of Duty. Like, at the end of the day, looking at this footage reminds me of a video game I would see as a joke in, like, Grand Theft Auto 5, like...
This looks like Overwatch. There's no... What's the point of this game? This looks like Overwatch.
In the single player, like Jimmy playing Righteous Slaughter. Or this is like the game that you would see from like the Metal Gear Solid 4 cutscene where they're talking about propaganda pieces. Nothing in this game is necessarily something that I would consider myself to be excited about, right? And the thing is, Ubisoft believes this is going to stand up and basically be a good competitor in a sea of games where a lot of good stuff, a lot of stuff that people are interested in is all free to play. What stops somebody from just downloading Call of Duty and playing Warzone for free when it's a genuinely better product than what XDefiant has provided? And that's just my opinion. We can agree to disagree. Now, obviously, with this game as well, too, what's interesting to look at it is, guys, they're obviously pricing the hell out of it, too. So, for instance, if you look at the actual cosmetics to this, none of them look great, but all of the actual cosmetics are around 1,000 X coins. How much is 1,000 X coins? Like $10 US. So immediately Ubisoft thinks that we're going to be spending like $10 to buy skins for a game that literally just launched. And it wasn't just like skins. You had the community at the release of this game telling us that, guys, $40 bundles just are not it. So for 3,000 coins, which comes out to $40, there is no reason why you should ever be buying a $40 is a price you could spend to buy a totally different game. Why in the ever-loving fuck would you download XDefiant to spend a full indie game price tag on an actual cosmetic for a video game that is played entirely in first person, where you don't really even fucking see the cosmetic to begin with? So obviously, you know, Ubisoft is one of those companies that's already at the helm of the Stop Killing Games project, which is obviously something that I'm passionate about because I think you should own your titles. And even if you look at things like Ubisoft, like people who work in the company, when they're saying stuff like one of the things we saw in that gamers are used to, a bit like DVD, having and owning their games. That's the consumer shift that needs to happen. They got comfortable not owning their CD collections or DVDs. That's a transformation that's been a bit slower to happen in games. As gamers grow comfortable in that aspect, you don't lose your progress. Yeah, well, maybe the guy at Ubisoft needs to fucking take the dick out of their fucking mouth and realize that a movie or a piece of music is usually like $4-5 if you buy it intelligently on like digital storefronts.
Yeah.
A video game is like $70. That's before taxes. People are a lot comfortable buying a disc for that same price if they at least own the actual data on that disc.
Mhm.
Meaning they don't need Ubisoft servers to play a video game, nor do they need to actually, you know, worry that if that game is going to be revoked from a storefront. You know, something like The Crew, Concord, you know,
Mhm.
games that people bought for full money. At least in Concord's case, they got a fucking refund. See, this is a game company that already doesn't care about actually wanting you to own your game. And this is something that they would absolutely enjoy. If they could turn every single project they had into a live service where you never owned it, that's the dream Ubisoft will want. But in trying to chase that dream, Ubisoft has effectively ruined their company and has caused them to actually hit a 10-year low. Now, to be honest with you, do I get excited at the thoughts of Ubisoft dying? Yes! And let me explain why I get a little titillation. It's literally because Ubisoft holds so many IPs that I feel like they've left hostage. You know, IPs like Driver, for instance, Splinter Cell, that I personally, I hope to God in every way, some other company can come in, grab those IPs, hopefully not Embracer Group, because I feel like anything that goes there dies. And hopefully in some ways, some of these intellectual properties can come back. Because honestly, even thinking of a Splinter Cell game that comes out of the anus reject pus of Ubisoft's company scares the shit out of me. I am dreading the day where I see Sam Fisher's iconic glasses lighting up the actual frame, and it all turns into some open world Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain ripoff, when clearly even Konami gives more of a shit about the gaming industry than Ubisoft has cared in the last 5 years. Ladies and gentlemen, Ubisoft is actually dying. And I've pretty much given what I think are the solid reasons for why it's dying. And I've done that entirely for free. So,
Yeah, I do think Ubisoft is dying too, but I think that's good because that kind of shows you that AAA studios they need to up the game, man. That kind of shows you that they need to up the fucking game. Fuck, bro. Because all these indie games are getting fucking all these indie games are getting fucking these critical reviews, such good reviews, while freaking AAA shit's getting nothing. That kind of shows you that like that don't mean anything, bro. Triple U just because you're a fucking a great a fucking a good company that means you don't that doesn't mean you're a good one. So and we'll go back to Low. He has a video I do want to watch. And if you're wondering how I know about low art, it's because I watch his Sonic shit. I'll show you which one I have actually watched. Oh wait, it's right here. It's right here. Right, it's right here. It's this one. This is the Archie one that I actually watched. It was the 3 hour special of Archie Sonic. That's how I know about That's how I know about Sonic. No, about Sonic. That's how I know about low art. It's because he made his video on Archie Sonic. I think which one did I watch again? I think I watched this one. I don't think I watched these other ones. Yeah. Yeah, he's mostly known for his Archie Sonics. But that's not what we're gonna watch today. We're gonna watch the Attack on Titan one and see how he feels about it. Don't care. Yes, Pharrell Williams, cool movie. Skip that shit, bitch.
Attack on Titan was the very first anime I watched.
Oh, that's an issue. Already on the wrong foot. This is why you care so much about it. It's because it's the first anime you watched. Oh, 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 oh. Come on, man. We already 3 seconds into you already got off the wrong foot. This is why I feel so fucking connected by it. This is the first anime you fucking watched. Oh, man.
And it immediately hooked me in a way so few stories ever do. I just sat there watching episode after episode after episode, completely.
What do you mean by you only watched one anime? This is the first time you watch. How you can compare it to the other ones?
Entranced. In a way, it was more than just a show to me, as weird as that sounds. It was a gateway into another medium entirely, and maybe that's part of why my passion for the story never wavered.
That is the reason why. I know maybe that's a reason why you never wait. That's why you're passionate with, because it's the first anime you watched. Trust me, if you watch other anime, trust me, bro, your passion will drop.
Well, until the end.
Oh, oof, oof, oof.
Now I know this topic has been discussed.
Oh, is this the one he also did as well? Okay, first of all, Promising Neverland, how it lost its way. Season 2 botched it. That's why. That's why. Season 2 botched Promising Neverland. That's how it's lost its way.
Discussed a lot. No matter what I say, I'm probably beating a dead horse. Some liked it, some didn't. If you did, heck yeah, that's awesome. I wish I did. If anything, the anime ending seems like it got a really positive reception. And yet, I'm here. Because 3 years after...
Even then, it's still mixed. I know the manga got more negative reception than the anime. Because, of all the voice acting and the music and all that shit, that kind of boosted up the ending as a whole. But the main problems of the ending is still in there, so...
Reading the final chapter and 4 months after the final episode's release, I still can't stop thinking about it. So yes, this video is about how I think Attack on Titan lost its way. But it's about more than that too. It's about why I loved this story in the first place, about the characters I cared for, and about the themes and ideas
don't care about themes
that connected with me. It's about everything I have to say about the end of Attack on Titan. But first, it's time for this video.
Don't care about your sponsor. Get your money. I understand that, but I don't care about your sponsor, homie. Let's go.
Back to Attack on Titan. From the very beginning of Attack on Titan, I loved Eren Yeager. The brutal simplicity of this revenge-driven boy spurned forward by his mother's gruesome death instantly hooked me. It's such a basic idea, a tragic plot beat not unlike those that kick off so many works of fiction, imploring us to understand the protagonist.
What? Have you seen? There are so many anime. There's not even just anime. There's so many books. When you have one of the main character's parents dying, it's what? Oh, so a tragic plot not unlike. Okay, he said not unlike. Okay, good, because If he said unlike, bro, I'm just like, bro, there are so many anime that fucking does this. So many shows do this. Not even just anime. So many shows in general to do this.
Plot beat not unlike those that kick off so many works of fiction, imploring us to understand the protagonist's emotions and drive going forward. And yet, particularly with the anime, it solidified this as one of my favorite opening episodes of any show. The way it builds to the Colossal Titan's first appearance, these shots of a beautiful sky stretching out over the wall, clouds moving quickly as the wind picks up, the world seeming too slow as people go about their everyday lives. Then the wind stops. The world goes completely still as one final moment of normalcy stretches before their world is forever changed. The Titan shadow falling over a minuscule character, selling just how big of a threat this is in comparison to them. How it's more like a force of nature than a simple monster. The music swelling in with them, like the chiming bells and chanting choir are something they brought with them from the outside as well. Though we didn't get that much time with Aaron's mother before this, that hardly matters, because the way she screams and yells at Aaron, begging him to just listen to her this one time, the way she has to cover her mouth to stop herself from screaming at them to come back for her. In just a couple scenes, it makes me buy into their relationship, understand their dynamic, and believe that they are a family. As with any big moment in a story, it all comes down to the presentation. Not the simple beats of the plot, not a synopsis of events, but the things they make us feel as every element of this piece of art comes together to create something truly powerful and memorable. But of course, there's a lot more to Aaron than this moment alone. Even before tragedy strikes, the first thing we learn about him is that he's a contrarian. While the society at large is fine staying within the walls, he views this piece as a temporary, hollow existence.
Yeah, but he wasn't always a contrarian. I mean, obviously, he's talking about he's kind of summarizing the beginning of it. He wasn't always a contrarian. He was also one of those people, but Armin's book kind of spurred the idea of him, kind of led him to be a contrarian. So
they're animals in a cage. No, in order to really live, to really be free, you would need to see beyond those walls. And this focus on freedom defines his character every bit as much as his mother's death. And yet, despite his convictions, Aaron's freedom has been in question from the very start. Being carried away from his mother by Hans, Keith busting his equipment to try and stop him from becoming a soldier, Levi and the Survey Corps keeping him on a tight leash when they learn he's a Titan shifter. At many points, Aaron starts to even function more as a plot device than a protagonist, getting kidnapped and moved around from scene to scene, his moments of action few and far between. There's so much standing between him and his goals, and a lot of that is simply out of his control. In the end, it all leads to a natural question. How much freedom has Aaron ever truly had?
Well, we all know that in the ending, he never had any freedom. He was just following the path that led to Mikasa getting over him, or not getting over him, but cutting his head off and shit like that. So, turns out he never really was truly free at all.
Together, what makes Aaron so interesting to me is how brutally the story challenges his ideals. Because on its face, Aaron got what he needed here, the power necessary to defeat the Titans and win his freedom. And yet with that same power, he gets more restrictions. So for Aaron, every win has a greater loss buried beneath its surface. Like how right away, Aaron turning into a Titan brings Aaron's whole worldview into question. The Titans are bad. They're the monster. So what does it mean if Aaron, for some reason he can't possibly know, has become one of those monsters? This way, his transformation manages to implicitly challenge him on the most fundamental level, turning the premise of the story and Aaron's convictions on their heads. And naturally, this is only used to push back against him more. After all, with this power comes responsibility. He's humanity's ultimate weapon, so this can no longer be his personal quest alone. He has a duty to his companions, to his people, something larger than himself to live for. And yet, where others may see purpose, aren't these also just more restrictions? Perhaps the worst thing this power does to Aaron is make him lonely. After all, some of him must have already felt that way before when the world was seemingly at peace, but now he's joined the Survey Corps. He's surrounded by comrades with similar goals. And yet, due to his powers, he's left isolated, worrying that he won't be able to build relationships built on trust or have anyone he can rely on. And how couldn't he feel that way as the number of lives lost protecting him continues to climb higher and higher, and when his comrades suffer deaths every bit as brutal as his mother's? Squan Levi's death changes Aaron, but it's not just the fact they died, it's the way they died. That Aaron chose to trust the plan and run away, that he chose to believe in his growth, to think that he could be something other than that child hopelessly rushing toward a Titan. And yet, it didn't turn out. Even with all his training and power, it was so much like that day, and it made him feel like a weak child once more. So now he needs to be worth that loss. Failure isn't an option. Trying his best simply isn't good enough. And other characters tell him this, let him know what they expect of him, what he needs to do. And if he can't do that, if he won't, well, then they'll keep pushing him. And even if they don't, the world certainly will. And isn't it only natural for someone to crack under all that pressure? Following failure after failure, Eren finally has a moment where he stops fighting. And seeing him at this pathetic low, knowing he's capable of such a pathetic low, it only made him more compelling to me. Because this is the ultimate change for Eren, isn't it? For him to go from someone special, someone chosen, to a mistake that never needed to have happened. I love everything about this scene. The way it builds to Eren's breakdown as he learns the atrocity his father committed, killing children and even someone Historia deeply loved. The parallels of his own father injecting him with the Titan serum, and now the same thing about to happen to Historia too. And the terror as he sees so much of his father in Rod. How even if it's a lie or at least a deeply twisted version of the truth, Eren is forced to face the idea that so long as he has this power, the Titans will remain, making his very existence something that stands between him and his goal of destroying them. And Eren's silence throughout this scene, the look in his eyes as in horror he watches his world and everything he believed in crumble apart. It makes this twist hit not because of its wider ramifications for the plot, but because of his character, because I care about Eren, and he's learning info that will no doubt lead to a deep change within him. And it's not just Eren who makes the scene so fantastic, it's Historia, and how the story calls back to the past moments that were so key to her life, to the deep-seated reasons she can't just be a pawn in Rod Rice's scheme, and why she decides Eren can't be either. Live your life with pride. And there's no need to spell anything out in dialogue beyond that, is there? Because this image of Ymir with the beautiful sunlit sky behind her, it gets across the tone and deeper meaning so well in a way heavy-handed dialogue never could. And when Eren does manage to get a win following this scene, it doesn't simply feed his freedom complex. Instead, he walks away from this seemingly more mature, understanding that this power isn't truly his own and that he's no more special than anyone else. That great power comes from joining together. He doesn't need to view these restrictions as negative. Instead, he needs to accept that this is how his life is now, and that there's an important purpose in that. But then the basement happens, and everything changes once more. Before this moment, the outside world was a source of hope for Eren. He may have stopped focusing on that shared dream with Armin as much, but it still stood as a bright light at the end of a very dark tunnel. Now though, well, he learns from his father's words and memories that the world outside the wall is every bit as cruel as the world inside. In fact, it's probably worse. So is there really freedom out there, or just more obstacles and enemies ready to take their lives? Of course, Eren's answer is clear. Those enemies on the other side of here. If we kill them all,
Oh my goodness.
does that mean we'll be free?
I'll be honest, bro. I'm probably gonna sleep for this way, bro. Because again, like, I already know most of the shit, bro. Because he's basically just mostly summarizing most of the story. So, like, for me, I'm just kind of skimming. I'm just kind of coasting through this one because he has a big chunk of the ones that he has a big chunk of the dislike thing. So I'm waiting till we get to that part, honestly. So I'm just gonna let this one rock a little bit.
And the way everyone else is so excited, but Eren just looks almost detached and confused. It really sells him as separate from these soldiers and his friends, his memories, his understanding of his father's words. Once more, they've changed him, and he understands his role doesn't simply demand deeper responsibility. No, there's something more sinister there, something born only from seeing this truth about the outside world. Which is why, to me, the best moment surrounding this twist isn't the flashback to Grisha or any of the shocking revelations that come with it. No, the most meaningful moment is far simpler than that. I don't know what the right choice is. How can anyone know the future? We still don't know a thing. Flaming water, frozen plains, snowfields on sand. There's an endless number of possibilities. I think on the other side of the walls, there's freedom. Much like with the story's premise, this terror is equally brutal and effective in its simplicity. A pack of wild dogs killing a young girl, killing his father's little sister because he made one terrible mistake, because he dared to go beyond the walls. Titans, dogs, or any other creature, it doesn't matter. This is a world where cruelty lurks around every corner, where so long as there are people around, suffering will follow. Underlying all the complexity baked into these strange supernatural systems, titans and serums and shifters and paths and all of it, the moments that form our characters' emotional cores are often so simple, so easy to relate with. And that's why I was able to understand how Eren, after learning about this, would become every bit as cold and cruel as the world he was forced to face. Aaron's conversation with Reiner here has to be one of the story's best scenes. Finally sitting with this character again, but seeing him so different, laying out Reiner's perspective with a cold confidence and conviction, telling him how before he was like a child, unable to understand Reiner, but now he gets it. He's engaged with the wider world, has learned how everyone is so similar, how they all have their own perspectives, dreams, and justifications. It feels like, in a way, Aaron has grown up, has come to understand that he can see humanity in the enemy, can see himself in the enemy. More than anything else, Titans have gone from monsters to objects of pity, people who had their freedom stripped away from them by a force greater than themselves. That even holds true for the likes of Annie, Berthold, and Reiner, who he hated so much. Eldian child soldiers fighting for Marley, much of their autonomy taken from them. So now, Aaron's revenge isn't against the Titans. It's against the people who took freedom away from the Titans, and from him and his friends and others like them. And yet, somehow, that hasn't made Aaron any kinder, any less violent. In fact, it's just the opposite. Because if he can see himself in the enemy, that means he understands their fear, and he knows that, just like him, they won't back down. They're too similar. Which is exactly why Aaron chooses to be like Reiner, killing the enemy regardless of how many might be innocent, all because of his sense of responsibility, all because of his desire for freedom, and all because he simply doesn't see another option. Yet, underlying all of that, there's such a simple question. Why was my mom eaten by a Titan that day? And the story's willingness to take its time on this development, to follow
It's so funny because that scene kind of diminishes a little because, no, especially that part, because like you realize that he did it. that kind of diminishes the impact of the scene because in the end he did it. He let it happen, right? He the one that led fucking the Demon Titan to eat his mom. So hey, that question doesn't mean that question that he asked Ryan doesn't even mean jack shit. There's no point of him telling him that. No point of asking that question if he knows that he's the one that did it.
Another set of characters entirely for multiple chapters and episodes, barely mentioning or showing Aaron throughout. It's bold, but it makes the parallel between Aaron and the rest of the world so much more powerful because now I'm seeing Aaron through the eyes of characters I also understand so well. Because now, much like how Aaron forced himself to spend time among and understand the enemy, the story has forced me to as well. And that's the only reason I can truly feel how much of a monster Aaron has become. This is the type of emotion-driven storytelling that's only possible for me when proper time is allotted to it, and when characters are put at the center of the action. This is why the basement twist worked so well for me, not the moment of reveal in and of itself, but the sheer commitment to its implications and how it impacts Aaron. It truly felt like all the challenges I had watched him go through up until this point had culminated in this. However, there was still the simple fact that all I could do now was try and read into Aaron's motives. Because even after this, we no longer got much in the way of internal monologues from him.
Nope.
Ever since the multi-year time skip following Aaron at the ocean, he had
And that's
become
an issue that I have is that we don't get to see a lot of his perspective. So we do not really know what happened, how he basically decided to do this, right? We don't really know how. Well, not until obviously the fucking ending, but like that's just the issue. Cause can he see multiple futures or can he see one? Because it's confirmed that he cannot see anything past his death. So how was he able to filter out that him with Mikasa cutting his head off and shit like that being the best way possible? We don't really get to see him skim through the other options. That's the problem here.
mystery to be solved, his plans up in the air. It was another bold narrative choice, and one that kept me reading with bated breath, waiting for whatever grand reveal had been cooked up this time. And it led to what many consider Attack on Titan's greatest twist of all. And the moment I started to fear, Attack on Titan was losing its way.
I'm sorry. The path I'm gonna be honest here, it's the path shit that as soon as the path shit hit, that's when I feel like I feel the same way. The path shit fucking ruined it. That's what I'm gonna say right now. I believe that it's the path, the introduction, and it's so sad because the paths were going to be introduced. It was introduced. It was hinted to in the previous arcs. So we're gonna have to run into this part. We're gonna have to run into a path at some point. And I'm sorry, the paths and all how it works and shit. It is so like there is like what there's no established rules of the paths. It's that time does not really flow there at all.
This is it, everybody. After chapters and chapters of Eren and Zeke trying to touch brotherly bonds, they've finally done it and they're inside paths together. They're going on a tour through Grisha's memories. Zeke still thinks Eren is being influenced by his father's brainwashing, but that was never how it happened. In fact, Zeke couldn't be more wrong. And that's where we get the big, brain-busting reveal. Eren told Grisha to kill this family in the Crystal Catacombs. And Eren told him to
And then Eren also told Grisha to give the Fire Titan to him. What convinced Grisha? We don't know. And we shall never know.
The founding Titan for himself. And I didn't like this moment.
Me either.
Well, maybe that's too strong. As I read through the chapter and saw the masterful
I thought it was cool at first, but when you actually like really think about it, and obviously with hindsight and shit like that, this scene doesn't really make much sense. And it's just the fact that what convinced the Grisha to give the power to Eren? What? Because he said that Grisha literally said that Eren did not show him everything. So what memory did Eren give him for him to say, you know what, I'm gonna give my son this power? Because I highly doubt the fact that Carla died is enough for Grisha to give Eren the fucking power. Oh shit, my thing just fucking unplugged. There has to be fucking more to it, and we do not get that. So basically, just up to assuming.
Presentation of Grisha's shock and terror, saw Zeke's realization of how wrong he was, and the simple cool factor of Eren's commitment here. I was shocked. And just like with many of Attack on Titan's best plot twists, it had taken my breath away. But then I set the chapter aside and I just thought about it. I thought about the wider implications, about what it really means if Eren can manipulate the past.
Yep, because that means, if you really think about it, oh shit, I fucked up. That fucked up. Oh, here. Because that really means that, if you really think about it, every death, everything that happened is because of him. All the deaths, all the shit that just happened throughout the whole story happened because of him. And since he could have prevented Carla's death, since he could prevent his own mom's death, he can basically change anything he wants to, but he doesn't. Or we don't know what he changed.
About what it really means if Eren can manipulate the past, if he already has manipulated the past.
Yes, because that's the problem. What did he or did he not manipulate? That's the issue here. The only thing we do know is that he manipulated that Demon Titan to kill his mom. What else did he manipulate? We don't know. And we shall never know.
That's when I got a little concerned. Because here's the thing, I already loved that past scene between Eren and Historia in the catacombs, and a big part of that was because of Eren's terror at what his father had done. I had already grown attached to this version of events, where Grisha did something for his own reasons, but they were entirely separate from Eren, something that he played no part in, but now, this wouldn't have happened without him. So yes, we do get a really cool twist here, but the cost of that twist is that my prior interpretation of this scene, an interpretation I've already grown attached to and that made perfect sense based on all the information provided, now becomes incorrect. And the emotions I felt, well, they feel undermined. Now, I want to be clear here. In this specific instance, this isn't awful by any stretch of the imagination, because that prior scene still retains a ton of its emotion. After all, regardless of what happened later, this Eren at this point in time still needed to face what had happened, still felt these emotions and this pain, and it still built up his relationship with Historia and showed her at her strongest and most compelling. If anything, Eren becoming the person who caused this, after being so horrified about it, well, it's a fantastic way to solidify his status as the story's villain. Plus, okay, the connection with Ymir here. Like that we go from the other Ymir telling Historia that she needs to live free, which inspires her to tell Eren that he needs to live free and do what he wants to do and that he can't give up, which then is reflected when Eren tells the original Ymir kind of the same thing to break her free from her chains, just like—
Yeah, but I guess that guy, that doesn't really matter because it was never Eren all along. It was always Mikasa. It was Mikasa all along. So this scene here does not mean shit. This scene here has no point. Her Ymir crying has no meaning anymore because it was never Eren. It was always Mikasa. It's been her since the beginning. Did you not know that, Low Earth? Fucking God, this thing's off a cliff, bro. Oh shit.
Historia broke him free from his chains, and that's just, it's great. It's super cool. I love it. So really, in and of itself, this scene is great. And yet, I still had concerns. Because yes, while it worked here, this brought in the possibility that Eren could manipulate the past again.
And that's the issue, is that this nigga is basically pulling an Aizen. This man's been like, I've been planning everything since the beginning. Oh, what's up, scary blue man? Like, fuck, man, that's the problem. What did he or did he not manipulate? That's the issue. We do not know. With these new context, we do not know what did he manipulate, what it didn't. So it's like, ugh, like what the fuck?
Prior scenes could take on new meanings. The emotions I had previously felt and the interpretations I had grown attached to, they could be undermined. And what if the next time it wasn't so successful? At the time, I brushed these concerns aside though, because while I could sit here questioning things, I had trust.
Okay, bye. Have a good night.
Trust in the story. So I decided to roll with the punches, give it good faith, and just believe in the process. Like, sure, I could question whether maybe Eren would have gone back to save his other—
I did believe in the process until I saw the ending. I'm like, nigga, just go back.
friends.
Go back and save your mom, because you're going to be a. And here's the problem here, is that he was going to be a Survey Corps member either way. Like, he was planning on joining a Survey Corps member. So for his mom to die, it doesn't really feel anything. It's more like just shock value at this point.
Or his mom, but there would probably be a good explanation for this. Heck, maybe even the explanation was right in front of my face, and this was a one-time event only made possible by Eren and Zeke touching, Eren sharing Grisha's memories, and the power of paths. If that had been the case, I would purely be singing this scene.
Oh, I really hate the power. I hate the path shit. That's the one thing I really hate about this is the fucking path shit. Cause there's no concrete rules of the path, so you kind of have to go along as it goes. You kind of have to figure it out for yourself. Like, okay, time is endless here. You can influence if you have a certain power, you can influence just the past. That's the problem. There's no concrete rules of how the paths work. You only get like one or two, and that's pretty much it. It's kind of just like loosey-goosey from here. Because you see past shifters that have died, like Bertahol, Ymir. You see the figures, the silhouettes in the path. So if you're a Titan shifter, does your like soul, is part of like a soul lingering in the paths? Like, that's the problem. We do not know. That's the crappy thing about it. It's just it's just the vagaries of the paths. That's what makes it shit.
Like anyone else. But of course, that isn't what happened. Instead, the Attack Titan's hidden abilities related to the past and the future would go on to shape the rest of the story's narrative, undermining so much of what I had grown to love about it in the first place. As far as I'm concerned, the final chapter of Attack on Titan is easily the worst of its entire run.
Oh, yes, it is. It is. It is one of the worst chapters I've ever seen in a battle shonen. It is one of the worst, not in battle, just shonen manga. Out of all the shonen manga and anime that I have watched, this chapter is easily top 5 worst. Goodness gracious.
An uneven, sloppy mess that attempts to twist, recontextualize, and elevate all past material, but instead only makes the story worse. However, it's not as though everything leading up to this was perfect. No, there were plenty of nagging issues that slowly chipped away at my enjoyment of the story.
Let me see.
But most of these were relatively minor, things where if I had loved the ending, I probably would have been willing to look past them or see them in a different light when I went back.
What?
Instead, though, the ending brought these flaws to the forefront.
What? Let me
and
see.
I found myself
Let me hear. Let me
focusing
hear.
on
Let me
them
hear.
more
Let me
than
hear. Let me hear.
ever
Let me hear. Let me
before.
hear.
For example, following the rumbling, I was left with the feeling that, at times, things were just too easy for our terrifying.
Thank God. Thank God he's talking about this part. You do not want. Yo. Yes, sirree. The Jaegerists, they pull up to that, I forgot what it's called. They pull up to the port, right? They don't need the boat. The Alliance needs the fucking, the plane, right? They need the plane and the boat. If either of those fucking fucks up, the mission is done. But no, the Alliance comes in just in time. They have the whole, like, legit, they have the whole, like, bomb set up and everything. All you need is a fucking thunder spear, and legit, all you need is a fucking thunder spear to the fucking plane, or thunder spear to the boat. Mission over. You guys lose. No. Instead, nobody in the Jaeger's battle before, even during the fight that they had, none of them shoot the fucking thunder spear at the boat. Nobody dies. Fuck has to come in last second doing it only to get hit and miss. It is so dumb. And not only that, that is one of the biggest issues. The fact that the Jaegers were way before the Alliance, right? They've been there, I think, like a couple hours before the Alliance, and they do not decide to blow up the boat immediately, because if they ain't got the boat, if they ain't got the plane, they fucked. The Alliance loses. Dog, man, it's so dumb.
To join forces against Eren, or Falco turning into a bird type.
Yes, or Falco turning into a fucking bird titan and somehow mastering it. How does that make sense? How does that make any lick of a sense? Like, mastering a titan in that quick succession is super rare. They even mentioned it. They said, like, yo, Bertol was able to master his in a quick succession. That kind of shows you that Bertol was an exception from the norm. So normally, even if you train to become a Titan shifter, you still have a hard time controlling it. And yet, he knows to do it so easily? That's so stupid.
And saving the gang just in the nick of time, or the very fact that this massive horde of Titan
Legit, man! Having hordes of previous motherfucking Titans, and they're not just normal Titans, these motherfuckers are Titan shifters. Motherfucking Titan shifters! And they come out barely unscathed. What the only person that comes out damaged is Levi, and Levi, Levi. Oh my goodness! Levi should have been dead by the time that fucking thunder spear by Zeke hit him at point blank range. He got hit by a thunder spear point blank range and he survived. And the most injury he got from this battle right here is a fucking bite to the fucking the most that he got is literally just, oh, his leg got bitten and that's it. His leg doesn't even come off. It's not like the fucking Titan yanked his leg off his body. Nope, he still has his leg intact. It's like he can't use it anymore. So stupid, man. If Levi shouldn't have died from the fucking thunder spear, he shouldn't have died from fucking blood loss. Yo, bro. Oh, post time skip is so ass. Oh, the post time skip is so ass, man. It's like fucking Death Note. It's like after L dies, it goes downhill. Like, fuck, bro.
shifters just generally didn't feel like as much of a threat as I would have expected.
Cause they're not. They bodied them easily. These body Titan shifters easily.
expected. And instead of letting these exist as problems I had, the ending spends some time explaining them, implicitly justifying prior issues by revealing them to be hints of a twist.
And stupid, and also stupid as fuck. How was Aaron have the colossal? How was Aaron to transform into a fucking colossal titan? He does not. He has not eaten. First of all, this breaks the power system because in order to have the powers of that titan shifter, you have to eat the shifter. Aaron has not eaten armor, so he should not have the capability of turning into a fucking colossal titan. And not only that, it was never established that the Founding Titan can use all the other Titan Shifter's abilities. Never established. So, this legit breaks the power system.
See, my feeling that things were sometimes too easy for the heroes here, well, it was too easy for them, because they didn't really win due to their own.
Nope, because guess what? Aaron was never trying. So if Aaron never tried, he was doing this big whole acting play. So no matter what, the Alliance was going to win. Even if they came out here, fucking just woke up from a good ass nap, no weapons, but they no. They're going to win. But no, I guess not. I mean, Hanji died, right? Hanji died because of Aaron, so I guess not truly, right? Fucking hell, man.
Strength. Instead, Aaron let them win.
Yep.
So that they
because
would...
because it's the Madara problem. It's the fucking Naruto problem. It's the Madara issue in Naruto. They made, and the Aizen problem too. They made him too strong. That is the problem. They made Aaron too strong to the point where, in order for him to actually beat Aaron in a logical way, Aaron must have his goal stripped from him and say, you know what, your new goal is that you're gonna be a whole fucking martyr. Even though this nigga said, hey people of Eldia, right? Your future is not gonna be up to fate. I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna secure your future. But guess what, dumb nigga? He left it up to fate because he cannot see it's confirmed. In this fucking last chapter, he cannot see past his death. So when he says he's gonna let Armin do it, he is leaving it up to fate. And sure, you can argue, oh, Aaron succeeded, but he still left it up to fate. It's the same fucking problem in fucking Dragon Ball when Goku gave fucking Cell that fucking sensu bean and hoped of unlocking Gohan's potential. Yeah, hey, Goku's plan worked, but it still does not justify the fact that what you did was stupid.
Look like heroes to the rest of the world. Already, this left me annoyed. Like, I had spent a good deal of time thinking about these chapters and plot lines, and even if some of it felt forced, I still enjoyed many of the victories these characters earned. For example, I really liked Armin's heartfelt speech to Zeke about the meaning of life, and how it inspired past Titan shift.
Yeah, Zeke's been in the past with that same ideology in his head for how long? But yet Armin comes up and changes his whole mind, despite the fact that Zeke's been there for an endless amount of time, basically soaking in that same nihilistic ideology. That's why in Erotina Requiem, he did not get his mindset changed that easily. Matter of fact, his mindset is still pretty much the same. Because no matter how much, like, Zeke's been there for practically an endless amount of time, right? Probably multiple lifetimes, right? And yet, motherfucker, what? And this is also stupid because how does this work? So if you're a past Titan shifter, does this part of your soul forever connect to it, to the Titan? I'm assuming so. Oh my goodness. And I have no clue why would you, it makes no sense why would you mute. I understand Grisha helping them out, but I have no clue why Kruger helped them out. I don't know why Ymir helped them out. That's just something I wanted to say right there.
To break free from Aaron's control and fight for themselves. Except, maybe they didn't.
They didn't. It doesn't. Even, first of all, no. This wouldn't have worked. Even if his speech somehow, like, these are basically mindless freaking souls here. You no. Even if somehow the speech did work, it will make no sense.
Aaron's control and fight for themselves. Except maybe they didn't break free. Maybe this wasn't because of Armin. Maybe Aaron simply allowed it.
Yeah.
And that goes for all the struggles they faced in this battle. The whole thing.
Not only in this motherfucking battle, but in the entire series as a whole. Because Aaron manipulated things since the fucking beginning. So, again, what did he manipulate? What didn't he manipulate? We do not know. We only know that he manipulated that his mom died. We do not know what he did after that. That's a fucking issue.
Thing was a facade, a pretend conflict that was always going to result in a victory for our heroes, regardless of any decisions they made. And that's just such a weak conflict. And yet, Aaron didn't totally let them win, because while he allowed them the finishing blow, he still saw most of the rumbling through. He still wiped out 80% of the world's population.
And how did he do that? And this is another issue. How and what formation did the Titans go into? Right? Because you have to realize that the AOT world is basically the world backwards. Well, not the world backwards, it's the world upside down. And he started from Madagascar. How is he able to somehow spread out just enough to kill 80%? Did he do it what formation did he take? We do not know, and we will never know. It doesn't make sense how logically he somehow managed to kill 80% of the population and somehow avoided most of Marley, even though they're legit next to each other. Like, nobody thinks about this shit. Come on, bruh.
When Aaron began the rumbling, I wholeheartedly believed he had every intention of flattening the entire Earth. His hatred...
I think most people did, because we understand why he did it. We understand emotionally why he did it and logically why he did it.
Any who would stifle his or his friend's freedom, his disappointment in seeing an outside world just as violent as the world within the walls, his...
but I thought it was just the existence. I thought they're just the people. Fucking idiots, man. I can't believe people actually fucking trying to argue against me with that shit.
Comrade's inability to come up with another plan. All of it came together to make Aaron's decision believable and, just as importantly, compelling. Because Aaron didn't become this on his own, did he? No, he was pushed to this point as his people's only hope and the...
Nope, he pushed himself. In the end, he pushed himself he all that pushed himself. Fucking hell.
Ultimate weapon he needed to succeed. And so, when backed into a corner, when made to feel as desperate as possible, he became what Levi and the others hoped he would. Someone who was truly capable of destroying all their enemies, but in a completely different context than they had ever imagined. And with that comes responsibility for them, too. I mean, they didn't know things would turn out this way, but they still put everything on Aaron. And so...
And when Armin and Mikasa saw Aaron acting all distant and depressed, they didn't say anything about it. What good friends, huh?
Instead of becoming the hero who could fulfill all their dreams, he became the villain who would make their world a nightmare. In my mind, once Aaron did this, that had to be it. As much as his friends would want to believe he had other plans, that just didn't make sense anymore. He had done something that could never be taken back. In fact, it seemed the final, most brutal twist of Attack on Titan would be that Aaron's friends had to accept that there was no final twist. Aaron was a monster, and that was simply that. So when it's revealed that Aaron allowed it to stop 80% in, well, I'm confused. How could he possibly rationalize this? If he wanted to lift his friends up as heroes, shouldn't he maybe let them stop him earlier? By all accounts, he's condemned them to a life of fighting against people who will no doubt...
And not only that, he condemned them to a life of fear, because guess what, nigga? People on the island were condoning Aaron's actions, and now, since the final hope was gone, they're gonna hate the Alliance, and therefore the Alliance is basically under witness protection their fucking entire life. So, congrats, Aaron, you fucked your friends up. Hey, you said let them live long lives, not happy ones. So, who cares, right?
Fear them more because of what he did. After this, when I go back and read everything following Attack on Titan's big time skip, the material is just less interesting to me. Where before I saw
yes, because basically you could interpret as Aaron manipulating every action prior to the ending. So all the deaths, all the suffering that every character went through was because of him. So you fucked up an Eisen plan. This is what you got.
Version of Aaron who was a villainous culmination of all his prior flaws, the choices he had made, and the terrible world he had seen. Now there's something else. A confused, half-hearted character who, despite being placed into the role of villain, is really just waiting nearly 50 chapters before he can reveal his deeper plan, no matter how irrational that plan is. And so, the twist has only weakened this arc. An arc.
Nigga, it weakened the whole story. Not even the arc. This weakened the whole story in general.
I have spent about a third of the story getting invested in. However, this is far from the only twist at the end of Attack on Titan, and definitely not the only reason Eren does what he does, because he manages to achieve his goal from the very start of the series. He manages to rid the world of the curse of the Titans. So, how exactly did he do that? Well, he forced Mikasa into a situation where she would need to kill him to save the world. And when Ymir saw this, when she saw Mikasa kill the man she loved, it inspired her to break free from her own twisted love of King Fritz, thus erasing the Titan.
Which was never implied at all, because every time she is shown to be miserable around him.
Curse. And
the problem is that King Fritz never treated Ymir in any other way, in any way other than a slave. So again, where does she get this love from? We don't know, and we shall never know.
I've got a problem with this. A big one. Eren and Mikasa's relationship.
Oh god. Oh god.
The recontextualization of this scene and the way it haunts Mikasa is one of my favorite things about this final stretch of the story.
Yes, because you know why? Because this is not her. This is not her trauma. This is not her way of like her trauma coming into her. Nope, it's because of Ymir. It was Ymir poking in the head the entire time. So yeah.
It was always just as horrifying as it was heroic. The fact that this child was emotionally capable of murder. In fact, the further the story goes, the more it becomes clear that this was the core of Eren's character all along. While to Mikasa it showed her how she could fight for herself, gave her the strength to live, it also should have shown her that he was a person capable of shocking violence. Of course, though, she didn't see the potential darkness in this act. And why would she? He had saved her life. Yet, as the conflict grows more complex and his actions unforgivable, her perspective on the scene is brought into question. And it's clear that it tortures her because she loves Eren. She's always wanted to be with him. So does this red scarf around her neck symbolize the way he protected her? Or does it symbolize the blood left in his wake? And as she learns more about the Ackerman clan's past, as Eren claims that they're drawn to protect their host by...
But even then, Mikasa is still willing to put hands on Eren when Eren was acting irrational in the beginning of the series. She still put hands on him. So clearly that means that she has the potential to reprimand him whenever he's acting irrational.
By a biological instinct they can't shake, rather than her own care for him. Well, she begins to question everything about her own motives and feelings, to question if she even has free will. For her, that's why killing Eren represents breaking free from the chains of twisted love. And this all sounds good. And it is. I care about and understand Mikasa's side of this. However, there's another equally important side I don't care about the same way. Eren's. Because honestly, I didn't know Eren reciprocated these feelings. Like, obviously I knew he cared about her, but I didn't know he loved her romantically. In fact,
because here's the problem, we don't really get to see him make any efforts. That's the issue. It's just that we don't really see him make any, like, but you can obviously see the What Am I To scene as that, but like we don't see any other additional conversations of him trying to talk to, or maybe him more one-on-one conversations, or just like just something. We barely get that. But the only one I can actually remember is the What Am I To scene after this. Besides that, there's no conversation where they can have like one-on-one, just them talking to each other. Just something.
I thought this moment where Mikasa went in for a smooch and he vowed to protect her kind of confirmed otherwise. He was saying, like, just on that day before, he would always protect her. But that didn't mean this was also romantic, and we didn't follow up on any of that potential. I mean,
that's the problem. We didn't follow up any of that potential.
Mikasa always looked like she was ready to slice a woman open if they dared speak with Eren for too long, which heavily implied she still had these feelings for him. But what about Eren's opinion of her? Save for one moment in chapter 123,
yes,
they never talked about.
That's what I'm fucking talking about. Even then, people can argue about this is not even being romantic. This is just Eren trying to confirm if the future can be changed or not. Even this interpretation of this conversation is arguable. So for a fact, we don't get that potential between how many chapters is fucking crazy. Why am I watching this? Why are you watching it? Why you watching Dr. Nutslapper? If you don't notice the material, then you can hop off.
About it again.
It's up to you.
From chapter 50 through 123,
I'm watching because I want to.
That led me to believe that Eren had rejected her feelings.
Or I wouldn't say rejected her feelings. I would just said she still likes her, but not in that way. So I would say friend-zoned in a way? Accidentally friend-zoned her? I don't know.
I'm wrong. I would have liked to see more about that and to have been given an opportunity to care more about them as a potential couple.
And that's what I fucking wanted to see. But if you wanted to go with this romantic angle, show more. I sound like a fucking nerd. Okay. Damn, I'm so hurt. I don't fucking give a shit.
In all honesty, I never even thought they had all that much chemistry together in any way. Like as friends.
Oh, tell that to people on Twitter. They would hate you, bro. I'm saying that right now.
Friends or potential partners. That's not to say this was a problem. He worked well enough as a sort of bratty sibling, frustrated with his sister's overprotective nature. But their dynamic rarely went all that far beyond that. It was fairly one.
And that's the problem. If the writer was trying to go into that angle, why not show more of this? That is the problem. We don't get to see them conversating at all after that. So it's like what the fuck? Even then, they don't even talk about it. They legit do not talk about that much of the scene ever again. So just okay, that scene's pretty much irrelevant.
Note, but it also never got undue focus until now. Until it becomes so instrumental to the very end of the series. So honestly, I don't have a problem with Eren getting a pathetic moment like this.
I don't mind it, but I wanted to see other scenes prior to this, more scenes prior to this, so therefore if Eren comes after this shit, it would make more sense. That's why people do not like this scene, because we don't get a lot of him and Mikasa by themselves talking to each other, or just trying to do something for each other.
Yes, I'm fine with a bit of that desperate side of himself coming out here. My issue is that it's brought about by a romance I have little to no investment.
If he was acting like that, if he was acting like this about him killing all those innocent people, I would honestly be okay with it, because the issue here is not the fact that he is crying. We have seen Eren cry like this before. It's not okay, McLovin. Okay, great. It's not the fact that Eren is crying. We know that Eren is an emotional dude. Everyone knows that. It's not the fact that he's crying itself. It's the reason why he's acting like this. We got people pissed off. We're ending this like it's pissed off, including me as well. That's what it got ending this like it's pissed off. It's not the fact that he is crying. It's the reasoning why he's crying. It's why he's crying. That's what got people pissed off.
Here, my issue is that it's brought about by a romance I have little to no investment in. But then
and that's the problem. The issue is that the reason why most people don't have much investment into it, because you don't really get much of it. So what's the whole point being invested in something there's not that much there?
There's one more side of this. Ymir's side. And this is fascinating to me. How could this girl love the man who did this to her?
How could yeah? Then that's what's get me riled up. It's just like, how can you love a guy who ransacked your village, killed probably your family, and probably raped your mom or some shit? I don't know what the fuck he did. But he pillaged your fucking home, destroyed your house, destroyed basically your home, killed your people, probably raped the women and shit. And then when you try to feed the pigs, trying to be all nice and shit, you get treated as game, as a fucking sport. But then each that's the fucking problem that I'm talking about. Like,
how? I mean, seriously, how? I would love.
Like, and that's the issue, is that the fact that they're trying to make a parallel between the king and Aaron is just so stupid. Because the king, all he cares about is fucking aliens being the top of the world and, conquering everything and shit like that. Aaron does not give a shit about that. So if anything, Aaron is the antithesis of the king. So the fact that the writer's trying to make the parallel between them, that they're like the one and the same, it's stupid. It's dumb.
To see it, I would love to get enough of her perspective to go, oh yeah, I get it now. But no, that doesn't happen. Instead, we get him torturing her and making her life hell, and I'm going to need more before I can buy into and believe she loved him, and more importantly, feel.
Because even then, even when she gets all that power, she's still used as a weapon. She's still used as a tool for constructing buildings and streets and making her as a fucking weapon for a war. Even when she gets the power, he still treats her like shit. So what would her fractured slave 50% IQ mind say? Hey, he's gonna change his mind about me. What?
Feel things about it other than confusion and annoyance. Really, all the emotional heavy lifting here is done by background details or broader concepts, like Ymir smiling here, or the concept of Stockholm Syndrome or trauma bonding just being a thing that I've heard of before, so I guess it could justify this.
It could justify. I've seen many people debunk that. So, I think Balance Magic debunked that, and she's a psychology major. So the fact Stockholm could be it, but that's so unlikely because we did not get to. Again, the issue is that we do not get to see when she started liking that. When she started liking Fritz that way. When did she get that perspective of Fritz? That's the problem. We do not get to see her have solely mold that perspective of him. So the fact that she is suddenly in love with him the whole time, it's stupid as fuck.
But as usual, the details are what matter, and we get so little of that with Ymir. Instead, Aaron simply tells us what happened, and that's a lot less powerful than experiencing her change of heart for myself in a more dramatized way. And that's really the problem with a lot of this. We don't get to see enough. For example, Aaron has conversations with most of the members of the hero crew.
Yep, but we don't get to see it. He even talked to Peak for some reason. I don't know. We didn't talk with Peak. No, we didn't. He didn't. But somehow Peak wanted to speak with Aaron for some reason. Why? Like, why would Peak? Why would you want to talk to Aaron for? For what reason? You don't know that nigga.
But we only get to see Armin's. The others simply have a panel or two reacting to whatever he said to them.
Yep. How? Damn, man, you're the coolest guy. Oh, Naruto. Oh, that ending was middling too. Oh my goodness, man. Endings get so mid, man.
And that's that. And because they only get such a brief response, I'm left distant from their emotions at the very end of the story. Key points of their perspective skimmed over. And since what we see from them, to me, feels like a relatively positive response to his actions, I'm left even more confused. They wanted to stop the rumbling, didn't they? Well, sure, I guess they did, but 80% is still gone. If I were them, I would be horrified and angry that he had done this, confused why he would think this would help them become heroes, enraged that this idiot somehow—
Yeah, they should have had that confliction of emotions just like Armin did. But they don't.
I thought this was worth it, but I could be convinced that they would react this way if I, saw anything about their conversations here. A big part of this is tone, which can be so hard to quantify. Just how these little moments and nuances add up to create something that works perfectly fine for some and feels off to others. And when I read this, I got the sense that the tone was supposed to be tragic, but also
It was meant to be tragic, but it just felt so stupid. When you really think about it, it gets dumber and dumber.
Aaron was being framed as something of a hero, especially with how his friends reacted. And I can't see any.
Ugh. Ugh. So they're trying to treat him as some sort of tragic martyr. Ugh. No. You ain't Jesus, my homie. You didn't die for our sins.
Anything remotely heroic in him anymore. Because 80% of the world is gone.
And not only that, dumbass nigga, the 20% that still remains are still going to be angry at you. And not only that, that 20% also has the knowledge of the technology that they had, which was, if I'm correct, it was 100 years above your people's. So basically, your island's gonna be playing catch up for the rest of their fucking lives. So they moved there, dummy.
The Jaegers are going to cause problems. Hanji and so many more of their comrades are dead, and the remaining countries are definitely going to want to see the rest of them dead.
And not only that, dumbass, the countries also still have their technology. So guess what, nigga? Guess what, Goofy? Guess what, Goofy Aaron? You do realize that the outside world had technology that was 100%, not 100%, 100 years ahead of yours, right? So, even if you did decimate the 80%, that 20% still has that knowledge of the technology. So, basically, your island is still going to be playing catch up, and not only that, the 20% of the world's population is still way more than what your little island can do. Right? Your little island has what, 1 million people? Yeah, guess what? 20% has way more than that, homie. Has 200 times more than that. So, good luck on that. What the fuck? What?
This is almost.
That's the problem. When you think at surface level, it seems cool, but when you really get down to nitty gritty of like how Aaron's plan's working, it's stupid. It's like the fucking Itachi plan at Naruto. It's like on the surface level, it seems cool, but when you really think about it, it's like, what the fuck? These are a lot of fucking jumps he had, a lot of fucking hopes and wishes he had to do.
The furthest thing from a victory, and the tone here feels more akin to an action blockbuster than the horror I would have expected. And even Armin's conversation with Aaron, which we get a lot of stuff about, doesn't really work for me. At times, it comes across like we're going through a checklist of plot points Aaron needs to discuss so the story can.
It really does. It's just like, what about this? Okay, and it's like Armin asks a question, Aaron will explain it. Armin asks another, Armin will react to that. Armin asks another question, Aaron would explain it. Armin reacts, Aaron would, then Armin asks another question, Aaron would explain. It's a cycle. Oh no, thematic.
Makes sense, so the plot can be revealed. So when Armin says, "Thank you, you became."
Oh my goodness. When people saw that shit, it was just like, what the fuck happened to you, Armin?
Mass murderer for our sake. Well, actually, I'm fine with that in and of itself. I can believe Armin would say this to his best friend, who, as far as he can tell, has basically lost his mind. To me, this feels like Armin.
Yeah, I wish we get to actually see Aaron lost his mind. Because you know why? Throughout this series, he looked like he's the fucking master at manipulating time, bro. This nigga looked like he was Aizen mixed with Madara mixed with Light Yagami. This nigga acting like he knew everything. That's the problem. That's another problem. We don't get to see Aaron. We don't get to see Aaron, air quote, losing his mind because from what we have seen, Aaron is able to essentially he mastered the past. He essentially mastered the motherfucking future and how the time manipulation shit like that works. He was able to meticulously say, "Hey, I'm making my mother die by that day, so that way all the rest of this shit could happen." This nigga was acting like he was the the writer of the damn story. Shit, man. Come on, bro.
Been trying to.
So the fact that he's trying to say, "Oh, I lost my mind," it's like, did you really? Because back then you had that all that mastery, nigga. You were giving the Grisha you gave Grisha some weird memory that we don't even know. That hey, that convinced Grisha to give Aaron the power of the Titans. Whatever. Like, come on, bro. You trying to act like you're a fucking 40 chess mastermind here, but you're trying to come out here like, oh, I didn't really know what I was doing. Shut the fuck up. You didn't know what you were doing. You just don't want to commit.
To
Oh my
comfort
goodness.
Aaron during their last moments together, understanding that there's really nothing to be gained by reprimanding him now. However, I still don't enjoy it because it feels like there's a piece missing. I would expect true shock and horror from Armin here, for him to absolutely freak out, even if it won't really gain him.
But you know what? He freaked out when. You know what? He freaked out and hit Aaron when Mikasa. Oh, what about Mikasa's feelings? Fuck her feelings, nigga. He killed 8% of the damn world. You kill about Mikasa's feelings? Fuck her, man.
Anything. Because this is the biggest betrayal possible. Flattening the world they promised to see together. How could anything be worse? Yet somehow, he composes himself so quickly. Honestly, it feels as though this scene got skimmed over like a matter of course, giving us too much detail on the wrong things and keeping the stuff I want more details about consciously cryptic or too brief. Even in the anime, which gives more details and more of a reaction from Armin, it still wasn't enough, and it really undermines both of these characters for me. Speaking of skimming things over though, yeah, Historia.
Oh, thank you talking about her. Oh my goodness, because legit, I'm gonna say this right now. I'm gonna sit my chair right here. Take out this pregnancy subplot from Astoria, nothing in the story would change. And I bet that on my motherfucking life. You take out this pregnancy subplot out the story. Take it out the story. Erase it from existence. And I'm gonna say it right now. No plot points will be affected at all. None. Because her getting pregnant, there is no point for getting pregnant at all. No reason. Because guess what? Zeke was already gonna be secure because guess what? Yelena already spiked them niggas. Already spiked them fucking them niggas them fucking MP niggas with the fucking wine and shit. So basically, you ain't got to worry about them. They're basically under Zeke's fucking. They're basically under Zeke right now. Alright, Zeke gotta yell and they turn the Titans. So they're basically affected forever, or we don't know how long it's affected. That's another issue. We don't know how long. It's like if you drink the wine, does it only affect until you like poop it out, or do you have to like is it in your bloodstream and then you're basically affected forever until Zeke dies or some shit. That's an issue. But legit, take Historia, take literally the pregnancy subplot of Historia out the story, and I'll give you right now, all the plot points would stay the exact same. Honestly.
She stopped being nearly as relevant after the time.
She just stopped being relevant at all. Stop being as relevant? She just stopped being relevant at all. Don't, like, legit, after Uprising Arc, don't even think about her. She becomes irrelevant. There's no point talking about her.
Time skip, which makes sense. She's had her freedoms restricted due to her royal blood and a tragic fate awaits her. But I don't care about it making sense. What I care about is that she was one of
my nigga, I care about making sense. I want it to make sense. How you gonna say this story is so good when it doesn't make sense, but it's still I want it to make motherfucking sense.
My favorite characters in the story. Someone who had great chemistry with Aaron.
I care about it making sense. Because if it doesn't make sense, I'm gonna shit on it.
Due to the character-defining moments they had shared and the parallels drawn between them. And now she's barely doing anything.
She did nothing.
In my opinion, she never had a climactic enough moment that justified mostly leaving her in the background now. I wanted to see more of her.
I wanted to see more of her too.
I expected to see more of her.
But guess what? Mikasa's the MC, so she gets all the fuck all the other females. She gets the damn thing.
But instead, she's almost purely relegated to a source of motivation for Aaron.
Almost purely, she is purely regulated to a source of motivation.
But for all my talk about skimming things over, I've been doing some skimming myself, haven't I? After all, I haven't even touched on what might be the most important part. The true final twist of Attack on Titan. The reveal of what Eren's future and past sight abilities have done to his brain and perception of free will. The fact that everything that happened here was preordained, predetermined, and that this was the ultimate challenge to Eren's freedom-focused ideals. Thematically, I get this.
That's the problem. This is a theme ending. So nobody cares about the logistics of how this shit works. Nope. All we care about is how it feels, how it goes full circle. Oh, that's the problem. It's a theme ending. And I'm sorry, themes don't make a story good. Alright? Themes are like seasoning. Alright? Themes are like, no, matter of fact, themes are like fucking garnish. Alright? You do not need it. But if you put a little bit of garnish on, it'll make the plate look better. But you can take the garnish off, and the meal will be just as enjoyable with or without the garnish. Themes are a garnish. You can't just eat a garnish by itself. Here you go, a plate full of garnish. I don't want a plate full of garnish. I want the food too, not just the fucking garnish on it.
Eren was so focused on freedom, but now it's revealed he never had any in the first place. He
subversion of expectations.
Thought he was making choices based on that desire for freedom.
But he never had any choices.
But can they really be called choices if he does these things out of something so close to biological instinct that it becomes set in stone? Something that he sees will
He never had any choices.
Happen not only because it's destined, but because
he needed to do everything. He needed to do everything to get to that point where Mikasa cuts his head off.
He made it destined. And yet, paradoxically, he's only making this choice because of those ideals. On paper, I actually think this is pretty neat, if a bit confusing. A solid, tragic end to his character that challenges him more than ever before. And yet, I don't like it at all. I actually kind of hate it. I've tried to enjoy it. I've reread and rewatched this story, and particularly this scene, so many times. But this final twist only ever leaves me annoyed in a way that's honestly been hard to put into words. And that's because while I've seen people debate the logic of this scene, that isn't really what matters to me.
And that's the issue. That's the issue that I have issue with. It's not the logic that matters, it's all the emotions. Nigga, no. If the logic of this scene doesn't make sense, that means this scene is shit. If the foundation, which should be the logic of it, the logic should be the foundation of a scene in general. If the logic of it does not make sense, the whole building crumbles down. It doesn't matter how it makes people feel. It doesn't matter all the emotions. If the logic in itself is shit, the whole building should crumble down. Come on, man.
What matters is that one way or the other, Eren's actions here were greatly influenced by his future sight ability, rather than purely by the life experiences and parts of the story I had witnessed up until now. It totally muddies his motivations to me. Did he choose this path?
Doesn't that still correlate to logic? Because you need to understand how Eren, oh my goodness, bro. You still need to understand about the logistics of why did Eren even do this? Come on, bro. The logic should matter, but you don't care about logic, right? That's why the whole fucking building crumbled.
Because he wanted to complete the rumbling? Did he do it because he wanted his friends to be heroes, even if I think that's really dumb? Did he do it because this was the only guarantee of wiping out the Titans, but also because it was the only future he saw?
And that's the problem. We do not get to see Eren think about these things. So, his perspective is gone pretty much until the end of the series. So again, that is the problem. We do not get to see if this is the only future Eren saw or not. We do not know. And we shall never know. So then, all these questions that's just saying low art, it still falls back on the logic of this series itself. It still falls back on the logic of it. If the logic does not make sense, this whole scene is trash. The logic has to matter. And that's the problem. But you don't care about the logic of the scene. So, there's no point in me talking about this then.
all? Is it some sort of mix of all the above? Did Aaron not choose this path because after all it was the only path he saw? Or was it the only path he saw because it was the only path he ever would have chosen?
Nigga, that is still the logic. All the questions that you're literally saying correlates to the logic of it correlates to the series' logic. You do understand that, right, Lord? That all these questions that you're saying right now still correlates to the series' logic and how it doesn't really make much sense logically. Because if it doesn't make sense logically, then this is shit. Then
I don't know. And maybe that's part of the point, right? Just like Aaron, I don't know exactly what happened.
Yup. So guess what? It's all up to interpretation. That's the thing. We don't get a concrete answer, so everything's left up to interpretation. We could say that it was because of his future memories, or we could say it's not. We don't know. So all is left up to whatever interpretation you guys want to. And that's the issue. There is no concrete answer.
Confused. I'm confused.
But guess what? Hey, you're gonna be like, Aaron, you're gonna be all confused and mumble jumbled up. So hey, just like if it's in thematic fucking fuck themes, themes go wrong to fucking hell.
But what I do know is that I don't like that. What I do know is that I would have loved to see more of why Aaron thought this was the best course of action.
Yeah, like somehow Aaron turned into a fucking founding titan, even though he did not eat Armin. And the fact that he somehow able to turn into a colossal titan, this legit breaks the fucking power system, because the founding titan can basically say, founding titan basically has all the powers of the somehow has all the powers. It was never established at all. It was never established in prior scenes before this that the founding titan can use every single other shit's abilities. It was never established that the founding titan can use all the other shit's abilities. Never established prior to this scene. Trash.
In a way that went beyond the fact that his past and future sight abilities had fried his brain. What I do know?
Yeah, and I wanted to see that because post time skip, he looked coherent. We saw him; he was as coherent as a motherfucker. So the fact that he's saying, I went insane, I lost my mind, we didn't get to see that shit. We didn't get to see him lose his mind. We didn't get to see him mixing up the past, the present, the future all at once. You don't get to see that shit. So the fact that he just says it, it's just like, okay, why not fucking show it? Why not show panels of him losing his mind or some shit? Nothing.
As I would have loved it if this final chapter didn't twist the moment that had got me fully invested in this story.
He's gonna talk about this scene. Oh my goodness, yes.
That day, that time, I just knew Berthold wasn't supposed to die yet. The one who let him go and made her go that way was
him.
For all the great twists and turns Attack on Titan had in its plot, that was never what made me truly love the story. No, it was the characters. With startling efficiency.
Oh my goodness, not efficiency. Get efficiency out of every anime tuber's lexicon. Fuck efficiency. I don't care about efficiency. If it's good, it's good. I don't care about how efficient it is.
It slowly gave each of them depth, laying a breadcrumb trail of hints about their underlying motives and personalities throughout, which only made rereads and rewatches even better. And those moments I would always go back to that just got better every single time I experienced the story. Those explosive, emotional scenes only made possible by carefully considered storytelling. Levi's choice between Erwin and Armin, perfectly built up by his interactions with Kenny and this idea that everyone needs something to live for. Ymir's backstory, her moment of ecstasy as she regains control over her own body, waking up beneath a beautiful starlit sky. Particularly in the anime, the swell of the music and the simply glorious presentation. Jean's change from a selfish coward aiming to live an easy life inside the walls to one of the most brave and responsible recruits, spurned forward by the convictions of a fallen friend. Reiner's tortured past and his various betrayals, the parallels between him and Eren, Zeke going from a simple monkey man to this character with so many layers of motivation and a gut-wrenching, tragic past that only revealed Grisha's deepest failures, and, well, I could go on. But the important thing, the point here, is that these are the scenes I always remember because they made the characters feel real to me. Like they were making what they could of this chaotic and crazy world, making the best choices they could see, even if you never know what the outcome will be. And one of those fantastic moments, the very first of those fantastic moments, well, it was this, the emotional core of Attack on Titan that was so easy to grasp. All of this madness spiraled out of control because one young boy watched his mother get brutally murdered right in front of his eyes. No matter what other twists there were, no matter how complex the rest of the stuff could get, that remained the simple beginning of our terrifying story. But that's no longer the case. Now this was a choice Eren made, or alternatively, something that was destined to happen, so we had already made that choice before.
Even though that Dina legit had the retroactive foreshadowing that Dina was always going to follow Grisha. If people said it would have made sense otherwise, it would have. Okay, easily. Abnormal Titans were established to not eat no abnormal Titans are established to not always eat the nearest person. Alright, sometimes they go after certain people. It was previously established that abnormals can do that because what made them abnormal was their behavior. So they wouldn't eat the nearest person close to them right away. They would probably look for someone else or something like that. And Dina had the resolve to follow Grisha wherever he went. So she already had the resolve to already be at that wall. So her being at that wall made sense because her resolve was to to follow Grisha. Right? So her being here would have made sense. So this scene didn't have this whole revelation that Eren, no, this didn't have to be here because she could have easily written off as an abnormal titan, which would make sense because abnormal titans were established to not eat everyone, not eat people, the nearest people to them. They'll go after certain other people, so that would have been established then. Alright. So again, this scene was nothing but shock value. I'm tired of people trying to say it would have happened otherwise. Dina could have been easily written off as abnormal titans. Abnormal titans were established not eat everyone, not eat the nearest people close to them. They'll always go. Sometimes they'll go after certain people. It was always established that then. Alright, and plus Dina had the resolve to follow Grisha wherever he went. So makes total sense that she would be there. So again, and there would. So again, there was no point for this scene. There was no point for this shock value scene at all.
Or he even chose to make it in the first place. So this conversation with Reiner.
That's exactly what I'm saying. This question right here, this question that he asks Reiner, there was no point for him to ask that question at all. Because guess what? He did it. Eren was the one that did it. So what's the point asking Reiner that question besides of some sadistic mental torture?
Where he asked him why his mother had to die, where I believed all the things I had experienced in the narrative that affected him were what led to this change in him. Well, ultimately, that's not what caused this. Instead, Eren only got to this point because he saw what had happened and is now talking about his own culpability in his mother's murder. And I can't feel anything toward that other than confusion and frustration. The version of Eren I had enjoyed, the one I had spent so much time with, did something because of mechanics and ideas that don't feel human to me. Manipulating the past? I don't care about that, not in this story. I care about choices. I care about characters and seeing how they react to the world around them. I care about Eren's conversation with Reiner exposing his disturbing view of the world and how he's found himself able to connect with the enemy, rather than him hinting at the fact that he was the one responsible for his mother's death. I care about Eren being the protagonist of this story and not the final mystery box waiting to be opened. I've seen people say that those who don't like the ending simply didn't get Eren.
Low Arts. Oh, Low Arts, you do not understand how many people have said that. Oh, there would be so many people that say that. You don't understand the story. You don't understand Eren. You don't understand this. You don't understand that. Oh my gosh, you don't know how many people be saying that, bro. Especially niggas on Twitter. Fuck Twitter.
The people bought into the hype of Eren's villain side, even when it should have been obvious that this was a front for some deeper plan.
Even And it's so stupid how some heroes actually thought that this was the true Aaron, even though actual people who actually read the story knew that this was a whole front. Everyone in their mama knew that Aaron did not really mean the words that he said here. So the fact that people actually think that we meant true, it's just like, come on, Bill, you stupid.
Even if he was also still villainous. And yet, for me, that couldn't be further from the truth. I thought Aaron's villainous side was an incredibly natural extension of his prior developments, a fantastic way to show his downfall and how the pressures placed upon him had destroyed any semblance of a moral compass he once had, but how, at the same time, some of this had been in him from the very start and had simply gone unnoticed. In some ways, that's still what the story is about. And yet, clouding all of that is this course of action Aaron took to rid the world of the curse of the Titans, a choice he only made because of a future he saw, but one that I only learned about right at the end of the story. Removing the readers and audience from Aaron's perspective for so long was always a big risk. For some, it worked out. But for me, it allowed way too much time to get invested in ideas and concepts that run counter to the story's final moments. It allowed me to believe in an ending where Aaron truly wanted to see the rumbling through to its end and would either succeed or fail based on a conflict with his friends. And it allowed
it's
me
so
to
stupid because Aaron could have simply, what he could have simply done, guys. He could have let them stay in the paths and let them do. This is another dumb thing. Legit, Aaron could have done both things at once. He could kill two birds with one stone. All he literally could have done, put his friends in the paths, and then do the 100% rumbling, take them out the paths, bada bing, bada boom. They're safe. World Parodies is safe. Bam. But no, we needed to get Ymir free. We needed to get Ymir free. So that's what Mikasa had to kill Aaron. Whatever. Stupid.
believe through it all that the simple beginning of our story held true. Maybe this would have worked better if I could relate to the emotions more, if I had seen more about Aaron's feelings regarding these specific things.
Or maybe you had, or maybe do some outside research. Fuck out of here, man.
I would have certainly rather seen him
Oh,
come
go read High School Cast. Oh my, fuck out of here.
to
Shit.
the conclusion that he could foster this connection between Ymir and Mikasa. I would have rather spent more time on his relationship
And
with
it's funny, Ymir and Mikasa never interacted prior to that moment. Fuck out of here.
Mikasa. I would have rather spent more time focusing on the potential idea that Aaron only saw this future because it was the future he chose and not so much about destiny. But we couldn't do that. We couldn't spend time on the emotions here and on confirming some details. Of course not, because that would ruin the twist. And so, by its end...
Yep, because everything's up to interpretation. We're gonna leave it up in the open. So we're gonna let you guys decide what led to this. Fuck out of here.
Attack on Titan had gone from a story about a character I loved, with some startling twists that challenged him, to a story where the character became the twist itself. Does this ruin the story for me altogether? No. I still love plenty of Attack on Titan. I can still appreciate so much of what it showed me. That it introduced me to anime in the first place and to manga by extension. That it got me so excited about these mediums that I ended up making this YouTube channel in the first place. So I'm not going to pretend that this ending...
Nah, bro. Sorry, bro. That ain't my first anime, and it won't be my last, so I don't hold those feelings like that with you, bro. I'm gonna say it right now. I ain't got those same feelings that you do because it was your first anime, so obviously you're not willing to trash on it or call it a worse series than that. But I'm sorry, dude. I'm willing to call it what it is, and the ending was fucking shit, and that's why I give Attack on Titan like a 6 out of 10 series. That ending basically ruined most of the impact of those prior events in prior scenes and shit. Sorry, dude. I understand it's your first anime, it was a gateway to anime, but I'm willing to admit it that Attack on Titan, that ending and other shit and other issues with it makes it a 6 out of 10 series for me. Sorry, dude. I'm willing to call it what it is. I'm gonna end it right here. It's 2:30 in the morning. I'm probably gonna brush my teeth, then probably gonna fucking head to bed. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for coming. I want to do one more fucking video, but I don't even fucking know. Maybe we can do motherfucking. Let me get Let me get let me get 20. Let me get sorry. Hold on. Let me check something. Donkey. Oh my goodness. I want to hear this song though. Listen, listen. Piece by piece. Yes. Fuck out of here. Pompey.
This is a Swamp production.
Hey. Hey. Hey.
I see some soldiers from far away. They trying to tell me this is their swamp. No, donkey. This is
my swamp. My swamp, yeah, donkey, this is my swamp, and my swamp, yeah, donkey, this is my swamp, yeah, donkey, this is my swamp, yeah, donkey, give us the fire, I'm conky, but when I lead is bubbly, smoking and green is lovely, yeah, donkey, what's in the bag, pumpy, we gonna mag, pumpy, 94 back like Humpty Dumpty, yeah. Shrek. I get so high, never land Shrek. Hop out the back of the lame Shrek. They know this shooter got guns in his tuba. I think that this bitch got all blame Shrek. Look at my coat, we can ban Shrek. We throwing through hundreds and whipping this honey. Can we be humble? They looking, they telling me damn Shrek. What for? What for? Out the hood. Shrek, you ain't take no Fiona out the hood, bro. She was already British. I bet you $10 that bling is hers. She paid for that bit. Four. Hey. Yo, Pinson. Sipping. Oh. Don't. My swamp. And it's so funny, bro. This man is able to make a fucking banger. No swearing though. No swearing. And this man making a banger. Did he swear? No, he didn't swear. But this man did not swear. He's making this is a banger song. No swearing, bro. Hey. Hey. Yeah. I'm conky. Look that lean is bubbly. Look that green is lovely. Yeah, donkey. What's in the bag? Pumping. We got a Mac and conky. Donkey, yeah. Yo. Smoking on the night packs, homie. Smoking on that night pack, homie. Fuck, man. Fuck them. Fuck on that op pack, homie. Fuck you, man. Little girl trying to fuck up his shit. Hold on. We're gonna. Okay. Okay, yes, Pharrell Williams is a nice dude. Chill. He's chill. I love him. Man. Cause I'm happy, clap along. Oh, I might get copyright for that shit. I might get copyright for that shit. I might not sing that.
In the past, I'm on said that drugs are bad, but I'm here to tell you, drugs are good, okay? I was in the lab all week, sipping that pure codeine,
okay?
Couldn't give a fuck about twig, I had the crap on ring,
okay?
Trap that a BNB, I was in the math on ring,
okay?
I let the trap on ring, I let the trap on ring,
okay?
I was in the lab all week, sipping that pure codeine,
okay?
Couldn't give a fuck about twig, I let the trap on ring,
okay?
Trap that a BNB,
Hey.
I was in the math on ring,
okay? Fuck the fucking waves on him, it's so funny. Just seeing him with the fucking waves, man.
and KMK. I ain't no Harrison Jakes. Fucking do a dash from the Jakes and KMK. That's where the pigs are, I'm going up. Mystery K put this shit on my truck. I get the rims and I get the teams and I get gelato inside of the blunt. I get a baddie and he from the back and he from the front. Over some city walk, I hit a milli rack. I say MK was just sucking me up.
Hey,
I was in the lab
all
all
week,
week.
looking
Sipping
at
that
how
pink
we did
codeine,
them,
MK.
Couldn't give a fuck last week. Looking at back on me, hey, even they all nodding their heads and shit. Hey, even even the towels getting into that shit. Okay, yo, even Kenny's getting into it, man. Let's go, man. Even Tolkien's getting into this, man. Let's go, Tolkien. Okay, that ball we looking at pure codeine, okay. New day. I said motherfucker school day. If I hop and get to stepping, I'ma send them up to heaven. Tell the boy to drink his Kool-Aid. I've been in my city going crazy. Standing on my business as of lately. Flawless family tennis. Serena Williams. Hey.
Mr. Mackey, baby, guess the class just got dismissed.
Okay.
I was in the lab all week, sipping that.
This man's a Gucci towel. That's hilarious. He's a Gucci towel. That's crazy. Alrighty, we're gonna listen to Lord Lad, and then we're gonna end it. We're gonna listen to Lord Lad, and then we're gonna compare them. Which one's better? Number one right now is the Shrek song. My Swamp is number one right now. Let's see how see how Lord Lad works. Listen, I love you, Pharrell. Cause I'm happy clap along. Fuck, man. Let's go, Borg. Ain't no way we got Marge in the Shiesty. Marge in for Shiesty. No way, bruh.
Stop's been stepping on us, homie.
Oh.
We gotta spin the block on him, huh?
Yo, this is like some Bonnie and Clyde shit, homie. I fuck with this heavy, bro.
It's Marge. I sit with my homie, banging on that chromie. Marge and crypto.
I mean, she got that blue hair though. Makes sense.
Flags only. I know you a Simpson. Shelbyville crony. Ops getting pissed on. We leave him mad groaning.
Hey, we leave him Matt groaning. That's fucking bars, bro. Marge's already better than Sexy Red. She's already better than Coil Ray already. Already better than Ice Spice. She having finished the whole fucking verse, and she's only better than all those female rappers, bro.
Left a fucking hole in the boy like he Lord Lad. Smoking hella tree, big homie, I'ma spark that. You was not in dog, big pussy, what you bark at? Cutest wig back, we had him looking like he barked that. Working at the factory until my fucking finger blade. Homie growing hella crunchy, got him under LEDs. Then us with the wrist, watch the stones on infinity. Catch me up at most, sipping top dick, straight Hennessy. Don't hit
Duff with the Hennessy.
with the pump,
Chris Breezy.
with the scope, so they bleeding. Son, don't push it, coke, G-Easy. We might be out of Springfield, but homie, it's my season. Homie, banging on that chromie. Watching crypto, blue flags only. I know you a Simpson, Shelbyville crony. I was getting pissed off, we leave him mad groaning. All my homies saying, all my homies saying, all my homies saying.
Okay, okay. I'm kind of glad it hop out the video so quickly. Okay. Alright. After careful considerations, I think the number one right now, number one is definitely My Swamp. My Swamp slaps. I already have it downloaded on my fucking phone. My Swamp is the best one. Then I would say Lord Lad is better by a slight margin, and then Umke. Alright? But no, number one is definitely My Swamp. My Swamp slaps out of all of them, bro. It's backhands them, bro. My Swamp is the best one. Who you should go to school with?
Make some noise for Pharrell Williams.
Okay, I love you, Pharrell. Fuck out of here, bitch. I went to school. That's hilarious. Kanye West, most unlikely to succeed. Guess what? He succeeded, bitch.
If any of you have recently watched the Netflix show Monsters, you probably immediately recognize the person in this yearbook. This slideshow starts off with an image saying, "I went to school with Drake."
This is Drake right here, who's also certified lover boy certified.
I went to school with Kanye. And the final yearbook photo here shows Eric Menendez down at the bottom, convicted back in 1996 along with his brother for taking their parents' lives. To give you a
Oh, I heard about this case. Apparently they might redo it. It's not confirmed that they might redo it, but they heard that there might be some evidence conflicting that they didn't do the murder, which I highly doubt.
brief rundown on their case. Eric and Lyle Menendez were both brothers, and their father and mother were Jose and Kitty Menendez. Their family seemed normal enough on the outside, but in 1989, Eric and Lyle had enough, and they ended up taking the lives of both of their parents. They were convicted in court and handed life sentences in 1996, and this is currently what they look like now.
Damn.
Eric and Lyle alleged that their father had been touching them in ways he shouldn't have, leading up to this breaking point. At the same time,
yeah, that's the issue. It's just that they were saying that the papa was essaying them.
That Eric and Lyle were claiming this, prosecutors argued that they took their parents' lives to get a massive inheritance. And as of now, they're starting to re-examine evidence in this case. Potentially, they might get
that's what I'm talking about. They're trying to re-examine the evidence.
Released, and it's probably in part due to the show.
To be honest, though, I think they're still guilty. Even if they did fucking molest you, that's still not. That's even if they did do that to you, bro. Like, oh my goodness, bro. Oh shit, I fucked up.
Je suis prêt. Je suis venu pour te sauver. Mais peux-tu me faire sauver autant que Bel Air Direct sur mes assurances?
Skip that, bitch. Restart.
The Sixers missing their first 5 shots, though trailing by only 1. And do you expect Ray Allen to miss
Crossovers, but the crosser gets crossed next. That's nice.
his first shot? I expect him to be a great pro. Oh, I really do too.
Make him go somewhere else with it. Crawford broke a couple ankles there, didn't he?
He had Allen falling down and then finding Jackson for the 3. That got the whole Warrior bench up.
But wait, but that's not Allen Iverson. He didn't crossed. It should have been someone cross up Allen Iverson.
Hasn't been one longer than
Sedin with the winner last night.
Oh.
Here's Ross.
I don't know why he retired, bro. I wish the Lakers needed his ass.
Drills that 3.
Reorganized. He's alone on the right wing.
And one. Get fucking cooked. Get fucking cooked, Ross. Look at your ass.
Because he's really letting them have not only the look, but the look. He's got a chance at a three-point play.
Oh.
Lakers
to
score the ball now.
Kobe forgot somebody.
See his little skinny ass. Look at this shit.
Man, his name was Durant.
Well, you know what
Gone.
I'm gonna say.
Then he just slid his away from Roy Hibbert. Fuck you, Roy Hibbert. I'm out. You're a step bit.
A very nice
You ain't gonna be
crossover
like that. It's
for
too small.
anybody, especially for a guy 6'10".
See you later.
Nigga, that nigga's 7 foot. He know 6'10".
Free throw line, the Grizzlies 1 of 2.
Look at that shit.
Breaks Durant's ankles. His 3 is through.
Okay, Conley. Okay, Conley.
He is something special. Now it's Russell. Driving on Conley. Stops. Oh, the window.
To the wall.
Conley touches her.
As Conley touches the floor.
Ice in his face.
Oh, shit.
D'Angelo Russell.
Booker goes behind the back. Booker, that's sweet.
Devin Booker has got handles. He understands how to get to spots on the floor.
Points for Baines.
Oh, my goodness.
Got it. Murray and Harden.
Oh, yeah, Harden cooks a Murray in this fucking clip.
He's licking his chops.
Damn!
He fell down.
And 1. 4-point play on his ass. Fucking cooked. Fucking cooked, bro.
And he fouled him. 14 from the field. Livingston with a crossover. Come on, man. That ain't right.
With his left hand.
McCollum.
This man, McCollum's not there. Sean Livingston, he's on the other court. He's on the other side.
Gets himself open, knocks it
Where you looking at? He's not over there.
down.
This is a game.
Holiday. Oh, pretty. The handles and the finish. Drew Holiday. A one-man wrecking crew.
So how are they going to find an answer for this man right here? Oh, my goodness. All right.
He did the shimmy on his ass. Fuck out of here.
No,
Man.
he didn't. No, he didn't. He just shook his shoulders.
Fucking wide pop on the dirt, in the dirt looking
Goes
ass.
back out, and here is the Johnson. Oh, boy. And it goes in. Man down. Man down. Play long enough, and oh, look out.
With under 2 minutes to go.
They've shot it well, but they've cooled off since the first half. Doncic knocks down the 3 as he's heating up at just the right time. Always got to rain on the parade.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, he
Dropped Doncic.
Goodness. Getting the oohs and ahs from the. Oh, give me that snap back.
Some daylight. Back to Fournier. Nice crossover move. Gets him in the
and
paint.
1.
And a chance for a three-point play. That was a heck of a move with the dribble by Fournier.
Yeah, it's a crossover, and he got some movement on the offensive end.
Oh, what a move. Can he cap it off? Yes, he can.
Oh, my goodness. Break me off a little bit.
You even then, fucking Fournier was balding. Damn.
And then score.
Oh, Poole had Clarkson fall down and then hit the 3. That's a mean in and out. And Clarkson could not handle. Look at his face. Yo. Look at the bench. They're wiping the floor. That ain't right.
Now he's got Poole. Under 2 minutes to go. The shake.
Yo. He made him fucking bend his knees.
Shorts or his tights underneath because he shook him out of his pants right there.
4:49 to go.
Benelli.
Marco.
Fuck you.
Backfires.
Fuck, man. He didn't even dribble. And he fucking cooked Morant on that
Man
one.
down. And Marco drops him off with a jumper. He's breaking ankles, putting guys to sleep.
Like that better than LaMarcus Aldridge. Oh, what's a nice. What is that? Wow.
Oh, they went up with a stop. How about the shuffle that put Bellinelli on his backside from Westbrook?
That's nasty.
Yo, I love when he did this because Russell got so mad when Reggie Jackson was playing with him.
Jackson's gone 12 to 28.
Yeah.
Ooh. You got him.
He did. He caught him. Russell got caught, but he didn't like that Reggie Jackson was basically toying with him, so he tripped him.
Would have done this too. Because he would have been everywhere.
Sweet crossover. He's going, holy smokes.
Said Jackson moved his feet. Robinson shed him and hit the jumper. And Nate's going to get the crowd involved. There's no doubt about it.
That's what
He made him do the splits.
breaking the ankles of the defender.
Berea to the basket. The littlest guy on the floor does it again. Although I don't know if Nate Robinson might be just a little bit shorter.
Here comes Sacramento, and it's Fox in the open court. Fox to the basket. Look at him go. De'Aaron Fox just froze the defender.
As you said, in the open court, it seems like it's always an open court.
Ingles.
Joe Killer on the crossover. Ingles. Bang.
Nice
Jingle and Joe. Nice shot. Nice shot.
The Killer. Slow cross.
It
works.
It was a bit slow.
Caldwell Pope, big scoring game for him. Here he goes. Over Gobert. What a scoop shot.
Oh, the Australian.
Contavious Caldwell Pope.
Here on the Flalo.
Oh, no.
Flalo high in the ball game with 9.
Damn.
Crossover. Fires.
Oh, he better have made that shit. Else I'll slap him.
Uh-oh. He almost broke a leg there. It's a 7-0 New York run.
He in fact did. Sorry, KCP, we got to show it. Now your only prayer is that he misses it. Please miss it.
Chris Paul.
Shooters they got out on Reddick. Chris Paul for 3. Got it. Over a Flalo. Here come the Clips. Down only 20.
I swear the snatchbacks are like the best like fucking ankle breakers when people like snatch it back.
On a 12-4 run. Curry hammer shakes ball out of his boots and hits a foul ejection.
You want to see a dribble move? Watch this one. Double behind your back, knock it down, and the bench is loving it.
Kyrie Irving.
Oh my gosh, Kyrie.
Got it.
Cooks him, man.
From the crowd. Kyrie Irving. What a handle.
Oh, D'Lo's are cooking too.
Just turned him around and scored.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad that fucking Derrick Rose retired, but.
And he is abusing Kyrie Irving.
But like Derrick Rose, like one of the biggest. His career is one of the biggest what ifs in NBA history. Like if he didn't get injured that day, oh my goodness, man, I really want to know what would happen. Derrick Rose is one of the biggest what ifs in NBA history. Seems like Penny Hardaway and shit.
He undressed him.
Oh, Kemba. Look at the daring do.
Ouch. Well, I used to like to roller skate back in the day, but I like my own music, not like that.
Oh, he got Walker back. Brooks. He scores. No, don't make him dance, AB. Don't make him dance.
Tough guard for Bogdanovich.
Look at that crossover from Jack, and it catches him.
The walk, and Fish will take it away regardless. Behind his back, Derek gets there. What a smooth move.
One person, one play. That's Derek.
Rebounds, Madsen quickly ahead to Houston. Behind the back, swerving, and it rolls in.
Lots of people said Allen Houston couldn't dance, but I beg the difference.
Gerard Houston.
Michael. Freeze down by one. Jordan, 23 points.
Fish. Oh, Iverson.
Iverson has Jordan. The crowd is into it. Allen shakes free.
Fucking cooks him.
Take a look at the crossover. Mike said no. Allen said yes. The bucket. The crowd loves it.
That's fucking cool, though. No, I'm gonna end the stream here. It's been a time. I've actually been wondering about that. What happened to Kwabi Lame? Actually, let's actually watch this video. Because I am genuinely wondering, because he was well liked in the community. He was very popular. What fucking happened?
Kabi Lami's comment section has gotten pretty brutal. Fall off is crazy, your time is over, bro. Put the fries in the bag, all of which
put the fries in the bag, little bro.
have appeared in just the last few months. Why has this pretty likable TikToker suddenly had his entire audience turn on him? Well, judging by another comment reading, why did we make him the most followed person on TikTok? People are starting to think that he doesn't really deserve it. He gained 162 million followers by repeating a pretty simple formula. Find ridiculous videos,
find stupid videos, and then he would do the most logical thing.
People exerting too much effort on the most basic tasks, then show how to do it in a much easier way. Can't believe he got that big, just from reacting to humans being dumb. Even Kabi Lami
Yeah, even bro, if I was Kobe, I'd be like, I'll be even surprised myself that something so simple, something so dumb made me popular. What does that say about you guys? The fact that you guys followed. Can you imagine something like that? All I do is basically record a video about someone's stupidity or purposely. I'm pretty sure that guy did it on purpose, like, right? So a guy's basic lack of common. I just record a clearly scripted video, some freaking guy's called lack of common sense, and I just do the most common thing. So if you guys like, okay, I don't deserve it, but you guys still follow. You guys followed me though, so you guys watched me many times to the point where I became a meme, practically one of the most popular modern memes. What does that say about you guys? The fact that you made me popular. Like, so I wouldn't really care, to be honest, but
He himself stated, "My videos are simple and easy, but achieving a point of simplicity was actually very difficult." He gained just 9 views and only 2 followers during his first month on TikTok, which only grew to 4,300 after posting a crazy amount of volume.
I was posting like 6 or 7 videos a day.
His main type of content, widely relatable skits, but they were limited by a language barrier, as Kabi Lamy only spoke Italian. I don't understand what he...
how old is Kabilame now? Makes sense. Oh, he's 24. Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. He was born in Senegal, then he was raised in Italy. So it makes sense why you only speak Italian. So okay.
He's saying, "Someone translate it, please. I love your videos, but can you please do them in English?" Kabi therefore devised a simple solution. Only make videos where he didn't need to talk. He'd state the fact that it's not spoken makes it a universal language.
Yeah, cause it's body language. It's like watching a silent film. Some fucking Charlie Chaplin type of shit.
Every kid, every person around the world can see the video and get a laugh simply by watching the images. Unfortunately, KB was now basically limited to mocking cringy videos, although this worked unbelievably well as he began to celebrate milestone after milestone. 300,000, 400,000, 600,000, whilst his ability to silently clown on others only got better and better. He'd begin taking already viral videos and add an unexpected stitch to make them even
You look at his face like, yo, nigga, I want some of that cake, bro.
funnier, leading to his first properly viral video roasting a girl for her non-existent haircut. KB's respect from the audience was building higher and higher, leading to a further 60 million views after roasting another TikToker for his strange shaving video. This then doubled to 130 million when he joked about a factory worker eating his chocolates. However, it'll be this video here that changed his life forever. Mocking the stupid life hack gained him 250 million.
It's so stupid because look at the cup. That's so flimsy. That's so flimsy. That can easily you can easily lose grip and then it'll slide down your knuckle and then the freaking soda will pour out. It's so stupid. Like, oh my goodness, bro. Like,
Mocking the stupid life hack gained him 250.
I swear, sometimes life hacks are so dumb. I've actually watched one of those videos and they looked so stupid. It's a waste of time.
Million views, repeated in another 4 videos, which followed a similar premise. Suddenly, every video was gaining at least 30 million views, whilst his moves were being copied by famous soccer players. Kirby was called the wisest man to ever live, as you say so much without saying anything. He'd celebrated 1 million followers on the 22nd of February, which by the 23rd of May had grown to 50 million. Although with somebody calling this a big L for TikTok, there were people who weren't happy with Kirby Lami's fame. Judging by 46.2 million followers for what, and 8.8 million likes.
Listen, my nigga, look at you two bums, man. You're just a fucking hater. Cause you couldn't do something that's so simple, but yeah, you guys couldn't do it. Too bad, bro.
Likes for what? People thought there was too much reward for too little effort, which can often turn into a person becoming hated.
You know why? You know why? He no. He deserves that fame. He released 6 to 7 videos a day. Alright? Most people I can't even do that. I can't do it in a fucking month. So the fact that he released 6 to 7 videos a day is already a commendable effort from him. So no, I still don't hate him. I still don't see why he's currently being hated.
Take for example the Haktua girl. She's not just
and I think that's the problem. I think the issue is that people are fucking and that's the problem. That's just how people are. People are so stupid. They get famous off of anything. Legit. The Catch Me Outside girl had a whole rap career and shit just from that fucking one episode of Dr. Phil. Like, anything nowadays can make you popular. It's so dumb.
Disliked because she's a rude or terrible person.
Man, don't hate the player, hate the game. Legit, don't hate the player, hate the game. It's not like you're hating on the content creator because the masses fucking likes them or fucking likes their content. It's like, well, don't blame the content creator, right? He's just doing the algorithm.
Disliked because her success hasn't been earned. Without seeing his history on the platform, viewers might perceive Kirby in a similar way, as a low-effort TikToker who makes $750,000 per post for holding out his hands in a 20-second video. The main joke is that Kirby gained over 100 million followers by doing nothing. On the unpopular opinion subreddit, one user wrote Kirby Lami is boring, not funny, predictable, low effort and famous just because he uses other people's content. 90% of his TikToks are low effort. He has a few quality vids, but that's it. He shouldn't deserve the recognition he's got right now.
There are so many people that deserve less recognition from that. The Catch Me Outside girl, Little Tay, motherfucking Hawk Tua girl. There are so many other people that do not deserve the fame they have. Not just Kirby Lami.
I really have nothing against the guy, just that there are some people who put real effort and can't get through, and I don't think that's fair. Others didn't like.
Again, don't hate the player, hate the game. This is legit. Don't hate this is legit. You're hating the player instead of hating the game.
Like him simply because they thought he wasn't funny.
It hurts me because these just aren't good, and he has so many likes.
Honestly, I'm glad
you're just mad because you don't get those likes, homie.
Glad I'm not the only one who didn't find him that funny, but there's a much stranger reason that people began to hate him. Kirby posted a simple Instagram story, Say No to Racism, posted with a separate video in which he'd help a white person pull a sword out of the ground. It was captioned, in a racist society, it's not enough to be non-racist. We must be anti-racist. But after this, Kirby made a brand new story. I'm seeing a lot of comments where people says, I unfollowed you because you did this video. I don't mind, guys. We're almost in 2022 and people still use racism because they have nothing to do in their life. You can also unfollow me. I don't care about the numbers. I care about your hearts. This was followed by another post reading, instead of wasting your time writing negative comments criticizing, try to help help people, although this controversy only ended after being overshadowed by a brand new scandal. Comments began to appear on his videos. I hope this man beats Charlie. Kabi's more talented than Charlie. I have a feeling that he might pass Charlie. Charlie D'Amelio was TikTok's most followed person, although Kabi was right behind her with only 4 million less. Charlie losing her title therefore became a possibility, resulting in a war between the two creators. People began devising strategies to make Kabi the most followed.
If you want to help, start commenting Kabi to #1 on every video that you see on your FYP.
Charlie's fans fought back, writing, "There's no way people actually support Kabi Lami. He's literally racist and sexist. He body shames people. We all know damn
My
well
nigga, you can't even say shames. You can't even say shames properly. You stupid."
that if Charlie did one of these things, her career would be over. A different video added, so basically Kabi did something so bad. He body shamed a girl, but what were these TikToks even talking about?
Yeah, what was he
well,
talking
an
about?
account named Canceling Kabi Lami re-uploaded one of his videos with the caption, "Why is this man obsessed with body shaming girls?" It showed 3 examples of Kabi reacting to women poorly, which was paired with another video of him joking about a dude's obesity. People then discovered Kabi telling women to wash the dishes, resulting in mainstream news articles
fucking
and some
hilarious.
pretty heavy backlash. Body shaming is so disgusting, ew. That's so rude, I can't believe he'd do that. As a result, Kabi lost 400.
But then people are fucking letting people be super fat to the point where they're actually dying of heart attacks and shit. Body positivity. But when that body is taking away your fucking lifespan, like, come on, man.
1,000 followers before the day was over,
Like shit,
although
bro.
people then recognized what was going on. They're cancelling Kabi because he's gonna pass Charlie. Kabi therefore regained 1.5 million followers the very next day, ironically helping him become the most followed TikToker. Although Kabi Lami's reputation has been trending downwards ever since that day. Bro disappeared from my FYP after he became the most followed on TikTok. Ever since he passed Charlie, he's not been on my FYP, also being noticed by Noah Glenn Carter.
Because he's basically done nothing since becoming #1. Like, he never even made a video celebrating or acknowledging that he was now the #1 most followed TikToker. And since becoming #1, he's posted once, maybe twice a week.
As mentioned, Kabi went from making 6 or 7 videos per day to basically never posting. He instead
Yeah,
began
because you know why?
to state, "I want to make films. This is my main objective. I've wanted to make movies."
I mean, he's not gonna try as hard because he has so much money. If he's making 750K per post, right? Let's do the math here. Let me do the math here. 750K per post, right? And he uploads 6 to 7 times a day. That's like what? Hold on, 175 times 6. Yeah, like 4.5 million. This man's making over $4.5 million per post. Right? He's making approximately 4.5 to 5 million around there per post, basically each day. Each day that he basically, when he continues that 6 to 7 posts a day, every day he's getting between $4 to $5 million each day, every time he posts. So do you really think that he's gonna have the motivation to keep on going when he hits such a big ass milestone and making so much money? Do you think he's gonna really keep going, or he's gonna find something else to do? Because again, he probably got bored of it, and honestly, I completely understand why he would get bored of it, man.
Since I was a child, almost implying he was better than his TikTok audience. When he did post a video, it was often just an ad. Kabi did promotions for Airbnb, Hugo Boss, even Facebook, and by disrespecting his audience with loads of different ads, the audience would also lose respect for him. He used to be so famous. How did bro get forgotten? People started posting TikToks such as, "Maturing is realizing that Kabi Lami was never funny, and that whole race for him to Charlie was lame," as well well as bro, can we all agree that Kabi Lami wasn't even funny? We just wanted him to pass Charlie D'Amelio in followers, which on its own gained almost 1 million likes. I mean, sometimes he was low-key funny, but it got old real quick, hinting at Kabi's next problem. As far back as 2021, people were already stating,
it's the same thing every single time. I know exactly what's gonna happen in each goddamn video.
Honestly, Kabi's videos were funny at first, but the joke got old after a while. He was really funny at the start, but his joke is getting old.
Why do you think that Heath is trying to do something else? That makes no sense. You guys are mad that his jokes gets old, but yet when you try to do something else, you guys get mad that he fell off and shit. That he trying to like, what the fuck do you guys want from him? Do you want him to move on or not? Like, you want him. You get mad that the jokes are getting old and stale, but yet when he's trying to do something different now, oh, he fell off. He used to be so famous. It's like, okay, first of all, he's set. He got more money than any of us put together. He's fine. He's chilling. Let him relax, bro.
He never does anything else but these kind of videos. Well, now it's 3 years later, and the joke still hasn't changed. His lack of changing content becomes a lack of growth, for which the audience trashes him in comment after comment. But it's been especially bad recently. On the 14th of August, this person commented, Kabi always knows how to keep it simple and hilarious, but only 2 weeks later, the same person's now stating, just put the fries in the bag, bro. In the past, Kabi Lami stated,
of course the people, they will always found something bad to you. I think it's just part of the life.
And turning his back on TikTok has definitely had some benefits. He'd appear in the recent Bad Boys movie, is now a judge on Italy's Got Talent, and most notably he's about to release his own feature film called Double O Kabi.
Yeah, good. Let him chill, bro. They're mad because they wish that they did something. They really do wish they were in a position that they can get famous for something so stupid. We literally have seen people get more famous for being more stupid. Legit, the girl got famous. 2 girls got famous for one fucking catch line. Catch Me Outside, how about that? And Hawk Tua. There are so many other people that got famous for less shit. It's for dumb shit, other dumb shit. It's so stupid. Anyways, I'm going to end it right here. I was supposed to end it by the time I was supposed to end it when I finished the AOT video, but I'm gonna end it here. Thank you guys so much for coming, and yeah, I'll see you guys maybe tomorrow. I don't know. Depends how I feel. See you guys later, and